98 and rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. QB1 for the Browns is the man who gives them the best chance to move the ball and score points week one, according to Coach Todd Monken. He determined that's Deshaun Watson. The 30-year-old beat out Shedeur Sanders for the starting job in Cleveland. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
You got ownership that's not willing to admit that they made a catastrophic mistake, and it's turning their franchise into a joke. You got a young second-year player that you drafted out of Colorado in Shedeur, unwillingness to admit that I made a terrible decision and a terrible mistake. It's over. It's bad. Naming him a starter is not going to change anything about your franchise or organization going forward.
Watson with the $230 million fully guaranteed contract, 9-10, 19 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions with Cleveland. 49ers owner Jed York pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges today after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. Texans acquiring receiver Kayshon Boutte from the Patriots for safety Jalen Reed and a 2028 seventh-round pick. Last week, Houston lost receiver Jaden Higgins for the season with a torn ACL.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, now that the Browns have named Deshaun Watson QB1, we ask Adam Schefter what's next for Cleveland when he joins us at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsman, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Mute. So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A plumb ton to do today. LSU scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. The Saints got their behinds kicked by the Los Angeles Rams, and LSU added an NFL player. What the hell? Let's talk about it. It's AFR. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So on Friday, we found out that junior Tua Halamaka joined LSU, the Notre Dame edge. We had that conversation. On Sunday, LSU added its second player via the newfound transfer portal, and that was former Ole Miss tight end Dae'Quan Wright, who, as you now know, finishes eligibility at Ole Miss, was picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles, waived 3 days after that, early August, or was picked up by Cleveland Browns, and then Cleveland Browns waived him. Adam Schefter reported, citing his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, that Dae'Quan Wright's going to LSU. Not surprising, because I've been telling you this for days. And Xavier Harris is next, and LSU leads for him, the big defensive tackle from Ole Miss. And they're not going to stop there. Jack Pyburn, I expect by next Saturday, will be in Baton Rouge also. I do think LSU is also going to add they're looking to add a cornerback, and I think there is a specific quarterback that they would like to add as well. Not as a contender for the job, as a depth piece, someone to help run the scout team. So there's a lot. They're not done here. I understand the optics that a lot of people hate involved with this, and I admit it's icky to look at a player. The graphic Paul just had up on the screen, it's like Ole Miss to Eagles to Browns to LSU. It's weird. Like, it's a weird thing to look at that. And the optics of it are terrible. And I am someone who has sat here and told you over and over and over and over again that my feeling is we have rules. It's just that the adults in the room don't want to enforce the rules because they have too much to gain by having these players, too much to lose by not having them. So they're continuing to bend the rules however and whenever they can. This situation with the 2022 guys, because the 5-for-5 ruling is different to me. Look, as we literally right here, 3:04 Central Time, R.J. Lewis is in a Baton Rouge courtroom right now trying to get an injunction to be eligible for LSU men's basketball. I hope he loses. That's a very different situation. That's a kid who had eligibility. He left to go pro, signed a 2-way contract, and is like, my bad, I want to come back because it's not working out. Not okay with that. This is a situation where all the players from the high school class of 2022, because of the new 5-for-5 rule, have an extra year of eligibility. The argument is for these guys who played 4 seasons in 4 years, had they known at the time in December, a lot of them would have never left. They would have used their extra year of eligibility, but at the time they didn't know. So now they know, and they're trying to get back. I understand LSU's the villain. It's pretty obvious why. It's Lane Kiffin and LSU. It's high profile. It's Lane Kiffin. And his reputation is earned from how it unraveled at the Raiders, leaving Tennessee in the middle of the night, getting fired on the tarmac at Southern Cal, leaving Alabama for the national championship game, the way it just unfolded at Ole Miss, all of it. Lane's reputation is earned, okay? I'm not defending Lane Kiffin. That's his history. It's what it is. It's why people view him the way they do. As Ross Dellinger told us on Friday, the injunction or the TRO in the Baton Rouge case last week is one of 18 involving nearly 200 student athletes across multiple sports. And as I was told today, you can expect hundreds of more filings this week with mixed results. And it's going to be very messy for the NCAA because you're going to have 2 student athletes with effectively the same circumstances that are going to get different results. Think Trinidad Chambliss, Joey Aguilar. 2 quarterbacks in the SEC filing in state court to get an injunction for eligibility. Chambliss won his. Aguilar lost his. How do you make sense of that? It's really hard. And that's what's going to happen here with all of this. Now, there's the football component of it, which makes complete and total sense for LSU. And you're going to say to me, but Matt, LSU has Trey'Dez Green.
But Matt, LSU has Trey'Dez Green.
I told you were going to say that. Trey'Dez Green ain't a tight end. He's a receiver. Let's just call it what it is. He's awesome, and he's the best weapon they have, but he's not a prototype. Zach Grace is an H-back. Malachi Thomas is underdeveloped. J.C. Anderson's a true freshman. J.D. LaFleur's a redshirt freshman. Point is, you look at Dae'Quan Wright, and he's 6'4", 255. He's played 4 years of major college football, and in this offense last year had nearly 40 catches and over 600 yards. Plug and play immediately, fills a need. I get it. I get it why competitively they want to add a guy at that spot. Now, Lane Kiffin had a press conference today, and as you can imagine, this is about all he was asked about. He did open the press conference Monday with normally he doesn't open the press conference with a statement. He normally walks right up to the podium and is like, questions. Today he opened with a statement.
So, we have made a decision to recruit some kids around the country. And, through these multiple injunctions around the country, which this is not a first time, they've been in college sports for a while, a group of players were granted a 5th year of eligibility around the country in multiple sports. And through them winning their injunction and entry into the portal, they're available to recruit. And so ourselves, like many places around the country, are recruiting them. And at the end of the day, because of these rulings, they're either going to play for you or they're going to play somewhere else around the country. So we've made a decision to recruit them, like probably most people are.
And that's not going to stop. As a matter of fact, something for whatever you want, I've been saying this for days now, but Xavier Harris trending toward LSU. Some are reporting now that he has committed to LSU. Whatever. I'm telling you all the names that are going to be there, but I've been telling you this for days. So the question, Lane got a bunch of questions, and he deflected a lot of them. He was asked how you make it work financially. What about the roster numbers? I asked him, when do you expect these guys to be on campus? And he just kept deflecting. The biggest hurdle still is the SEC intra-conference transfer policy. He was asked about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk any specifics of players, especially because they're recruits. So I can't really get into any of that.
Okay. So if you're not familiar, the SEC has a policy, and Greg Sankey last week sent a memo to the member institutions reminding them of this policy, where players cannot transfer within the conference outside of the traditional portal window. So in football, it's January. In January, you can transfer within the conference. Outside of January, you can't. So Greg Sankey reminded the conference of that, basically saying, hey, all these players getting the injunctions, SEC schools, you can't take SEC players. Well, I had a long conversation. I've had conversations with many attorneys. One very familiar, well, several, very familiar with all these goings on. And the feeling is that the players that got the TRO last week, the next step is to get a preliminary injunction, then a permanent injunction. The injunction would not challenge the SEC transfer rule because the SEC is not a named plaintiff. The players are suing the NCAA, not the SEC. So even with the TRO and then presumably the injunction, which that hearing is August 31st, so next Monday, a week from today, they would still have to figure out how to navigate this SEC rule. And the question is, from an SEC perspective, will the conference lift that mandate in this instance? Because would you rather Xavier Harris and Dae'Quan Wright go play at Miami or Ohio State, or would you rather have them play for an SEC school? Now, Ole Miss probably would rather have them leave. But if you're the SEC, wouldn't you rather great players stay in your conference? That's sort of the thought process in the argument. We'll see what comes of it. I don't know what the SEC is going to elect to do, but something else I'll tell you is I'll put this out there. I'm sure someone will go put it on Twitter and claim that they broke the story. But there's the running back that LSU, that was part of the injunction a week ago, TJ Harden. Told you about him. Started at UCLA, played last year at SMU, was in camp with the Seahawks. He is trending heavily now toward Missouri. It looks like he's going to land at Missouri. Big time offer, all that stuff, plug and play running back, whatever. Fine. Now, that's not an intra-conference transfer, but that's another one where you're talking about a guy who's in an NFL camp who's going to be playing in an SEC school. SEC good with that? We'll see. It's something worth following. Texas had an offensive lineman. Was a Texas offensive lineman, was in camp with the Cowboys, is now back at Texas. We okay with this? I get why LSU and Lane Kiffin are the poster child, while a lot of people are going to start there. I get it. But the point is, the SEC, as more and more of these cases go to state court, it's not just going to be Dae'Quan Wright and Xavier Harris. It's going to be dozens, if not hundreds, of student athletes where they're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to go state by state to court and fight all of these? Or are you just going to lift the policy and give a blanket waiver for this one-time deal because of how weird this all is? That's something that I guess we'll find out here in relatively short order because kickoff is Saturday in week 0. You're less than 2 weeks away from kickoff of week 1. Rosters still not completely set. As we learn more, we'll certainly talk about it. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. The official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU, and the official beer of the Saints. So Saints stunk this weekend. Got blown out 34-0. Tell you what, watching the Saints with a few ice-cold Bud Lights might have eased the pain of watching that behind kicking a little bit. Hey, look, and you can get the officially licensed black and gold cans, the official licensed purple and gold cans and aluminum bottles at great local retailers. Whatever you do, drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. Our buddy Wilson Alexander, now with On 3, will join us next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I just mentioned we watched the Saints on Saturdays. I'm sure many of you did as well. And then after the Saints, we had Cade Anderson made his first start. We had a little Saturday night football with the Chiefs and the Bucks. Watched it outside. We threw some steaks on the grill in the outdoor kitchen. Had some friends over. We watched the game on the TV outdoor from the pool. Tell you, there's few better ways to spend spring and summer weekends than hanging out by your pool and in your outdoor kitchen. If that's something that you would love, a dream you would like to make a reality, our friends at Duplessis Pools can do that for you. Go to DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. You're from Louisiana, you know how to spell it. DuplessisPools.com. On the homepage, you'll see the Pick Your Pool icon. You can choose from 11 different pool designs. And as you start to pick all the different finishes and features, it'll build the pool right there in front of you in 3D, and the price will adjust as well, so you can see what it cost you. DuplessisPools.com. Named the top 50 pool builder in America by Pool & Spa Magazine. DuplessisPools.com. DuplessisPools.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest, seasoned, and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern Classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Bayou Automotive, we
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Yeah, I'm not going to really get into that, just because, like you said, are they recruits? Are they not? There's so much gray area there that I'm not going to get into individuals until we fully understand everything.
Lane Kiffin didn't want to say much during his press conference, although he did answer questions for nearly 30 minutes here on Monday. Our buddy Wilson Alexander, national college football writer for On3. Wilson was in the house today. He's on Twitter at WhalesAnder if you want to give him a follow, at WH Alexander, but I like to say WhalesAnder. Yo, dude, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Matt. How are you today? It's good to be with you guys.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you. Okay, let's tackle this because you have a piece up at On3 about the SEC intra-conference transfer policy. Let's start there. Give us the flyover, if you would, on where the league is on this, especially because we're talking about Dae'Quan Wright now, Xavier Harris.
Yeah, the SEC has a rule in place that players are not allowed to transfer from one member institution to another outside of what is now the January transfer portal window. But all of these lawsuits have sort of opened up what could be a loophole here that LSU is clearly trying to exploit, in that these players, you could argue, are actually not coming from Ole Miss, but from the NFL. And so with a stop in between, is it really violation of rules? Many in the conference who we spoke to over the last couple of days feel that it is a violation. There are people at other schools who are wanting the SEC to penalize LSU in some way for doing this, but it's still unclear exactly if the SEC is going to do that. The SEC has yet to respond to a request for comment on any of this, and it sounds like maybe Greg Sankey is continuing to mull it over. What is clear is that this could come to a head over the next couple of days. The SEC ADs and presidents are going to meet in person in Birmingham starting tomorrow, which is the same day that Dae'Quan Wright would clear waivers. And it is expected to be a topic of fairly heated discussion whether or not this is something that the conference needs to try to come down on LSU with.
I know there's no real precedent for this, meaning an NFL player coming back to college. But is there a similar precedent anywhere, Wilson, by which the league may act upon?
Well, there are basketball cases. I don't know exactly how much precedent that sets, just with some, different sort of standards and rules within basketball, I guess. But I mean, like Mark Mitchell just recently, former Missouri player, was briefly in the professional ranks and then comes back to Kentucky. Last year Alabama played a player for a few games, Charles Benediaco, who Greg Sankey came out and said like this shouldn't be allowed, and then that he ends up having his case overturned, and then he was no longer on the team. So those are kind of the only examples that we have of this so far, and they're in other sports.
Wilson Alexander is with us on 3. So the other thing, Wilson, that I think is fascinating, like clearly LSU is the most public example so far. But I had a conversation today with an attorney, let's just say very familiar with all of these, and said they're expecting hundreds of more filings today and this week. So clearly LSU won't be the last. I'm fully expecting the running back TJ Harden is going to land at Missouri. He was just with the Seahawks. There's a lot of there's way more that are coming. So
sure.
Is the feeling, or do you know with people with whom you spoke, that a mounting number of cases that a possibility is the SEC to give like a one-time waiver or lifting the policy?
I'm really not sure. I wish I knew. It's got to be brought up and discussed over the next couple of days, but I don't know which direction they're going to go in. With Harden, he was at SMU previously, correct? So
correct, yeah.
That wouldn't be the intra-conference transfer. I think that for the league itself, that's probably the biggest sticking point. The league could probably make a lot of things easy and just decide to give the one-time blanket thing for the class of 2022. You also probably open up the floodgates a little bit by doing that, and you could just sort of allow these cases to play out sort of individually like they are, even though there are, as you said, expected to be a lot more coming. NFL cut day is on the 30th.
Yeah.
What are we going to get after that? And so that, is a possibility, but there aren't quite as many who are, at least at this point, trying to transfer within the SEC, though I would be probably a little bit surprised if Dae'Quan Wright and Xavier Harris are the only examples that end up coming out of that.
Do you have any idea, Wilson? You changed your handle. You took the H out.
Well, I didn't want to disappoint you.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to disappoint you.
Why would you do that? I just looked at your Twitter. You took the H. You're no longer Whale Xander. I don't know what you are.
I had an opportunity to streamline it.
You're Wale Xander now. That's what you are. WALE Xander. You're Wale Xander.
Okay, we can still have some fun with it.
I just noticed that. That made me so disappointed. Hey, do you know? Okay, let's say hypothetically, and I know we don't love to deal in hypotheticals, but let's say these players do play, and the SEC says no, you can't, but they play them anyway. What type of penalties might LSU or any school face?
Yeah, that's one of the big remaining questions here. Is because from everyone I talked to, while this is something that is not allowed under SEC rule to play somebody who was within the conference previously, there is no actual penalty structure in place for breaking that rule. And so that's something else that has to get figured out, is because, you have to talk to ADs and stuff at other schools who are mad at LSU, and they start throwing out some fairly outlandish things like 9-figure fines and, postseason bans and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit on some of that. But there is definitely a discussion that needs to be had about, okay, if the SEC is going to try to penalize LSU and potentially any other schools that attempt to do this, what is that penalty going to be? That's still something that people don't know.
Do you have any guess, Wilson, as to how this is all going to play out?
If I could do that, I should probably go be an attorney, and make a bunch of money doing that. I don't know. I really don't.
Or a sports bettor. That would be good too.
Yeah, I suppose that could be advantageous as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't know because there's just so many different directions it could go in. Obviously, the next thing to know is that these SEC meetings are going to take place this week. Hopefully, the SEC will finally respond and do so in a way that's public, because oftentimes it has handled things in-house. The other thing is going to be that preliminary injunction hearing in this Louisiana case specifically. Next Monday is currently scheduled next Monday in Baton Rouge. That could end up getting moved because the plaintiff's attorneys have a previously scheduled hearing in South Carolina. So I'm sure we'll know something within the next 2 weeks. I certainly hope it gets settled before the start of the season.
Right. He's Wilson Alexander at Wale Xander on Twitter if you want to give him a follow there. At W Alexander if you want to give him a follow there. He's On3, national college football writer for On3. Hey, are you going to be in Tiger Stadium for the Clemson game?
I will.
Fantastic.
I definitely will.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
We'll look forward to the coverage, man. Thanks for the time today.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a good one.
All right. Be well. It is Wilson Alexander. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. At Lee Michaels, they are in the celebration business, as they often say. Whatever it is you're celebrating, an anniversary, an engagement, a birthday, getting a player eligible from the NFL, whatever you're celebrating, do so with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com, or walk into any of the 9 locations, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, that story is not going away. LSU is now up to 3 players that they've added via this newfound transfer portal with Junior Tui Halamaka, Dae'Quan Wright, and now Xavier Harris. And they're not done. As I understand it, they are looking to add a cornerback. The possibility remains of adding some offensive line depth, although it sounds like that may not happen. There was a BYU offensive lineman who was part of that Louisiana TRO case a week ago. But that seems like that may not be on the forefront of the needs. And yes, I do think there's a possibility. I know there's a possibility that LSU is working to add a quarterback. Not someone who's competing for a starting job, but someone who maybe will come in and run the scout team. And so then there's the very real question of how do you make it all work with numbers? Because you have a hard cap on your roster. A year ago when they changed the roster limits, the walk-ons were grandfathered in so they wouldn't lose their spot. In this instance, with these players who are granted their TRO and then potentially a preliminary injunction, they would not be grandfathered in. So you'd have to make your roster numbers work, meaning you probably have to cut from the bottom. And I spoke with a staff member a day ago who told me I've tried very candidly. I have tried ever since the Colorado judge first granted that blanket waiver. I've tried very hard to push to find out if LSU were scouting these players, who they were scouting, names, positions, how they'd make it work, numbers-wise, how many spots they have. And everything was extremely tight-lipped, surprisingly. But one thing that I was told was, 1, maybe 2 spots. But over the weekend was told, listen, we will make it work however we have to, whatever that means. And what that means is cutting players. If you have the opportunity to add viable players that can help you and make you better, and you have to stay within roster limits, then you're going to cut players. And I do think that is something that as LSU continues to add more, they are going to have to subtract. You can't add without subtracting. And so we'll see what the numbers look like, but I do think that's It's a real thing where you're going to have some tough conversations, and guys aren't going to be on the roster that a week ago or a day ago thought they had a spot. Lane Kiffin was asked, like, can you play that? He was asked how much of this, like, has he had these conversations with his team? I don't see what number that is. Muse, do you have it? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, our guys know we're in a relentless pursuit of excellence. And I tell them that all the time. That's how I live. It's how I think. It's how I run the team. And that we're always going to look at every avenue to give you the best team, to give you the best players so that you have the best chance to win. And we're always going to be trying to get better in every area no matter what. And anytime portal or acquisitions come up, that's what we're going to do.
So he's being transparent with his team. They have an opportunity to get better. They will, even if it means cutting guys. It's AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, Glow Resources and glowresources.com. If you're a business owner and you need the right people to make your business the most effective, efficient, profitable it can be, you need the right people, and you need Glow Resources because that's what they do. At Glow Resources, they cast their net far and wide to find the right people to make your business the most efficient it can be. Whatever position you might be looking for, skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job, from an office assistant up to the C-suite. And not just in Baton Rouge or just in Louisiana. They help build businesses all over the country, place employees in jobs all over the world. So start online at GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. If you go to the website, glowresources.com/careers, you could see a look at all the different jobs that they're searching right now to kind of get a sense of what they do. Check them out online at GLO, glowresources.com.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. That's what they do. You want to boil it down simply, that's what they do. Better coverage, less money. If you like overpaying to be underinsured, then stick with what you got. But if you want someone to shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money, that's where Insurance Network of Louisiana comes in. Now, we're talking about home, auto, all different types of insurance, but I want to remind you as well, if you're a business owner, that Insurance Network of Louisiana can help with your business insurance as well. Quite literally any type of business. They actually crush it for like restaurants and bars. Like if you're a restaurant owner, you need to let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. Say it all the time. Literally the worst thing that can happen is they go shop and they come back and they go, hey, what you have right now is great. We couldn't find anything better. Great. At least you know. Or maybe they go and they get you better coverage and save you money. 293-0450, 293-0450. Call right now, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Regular season, preseason does not matter. Those ones aren't the ones you want. That was a big time missed opportunity for us. Starts with me. We didn't respond the right way. Thought we had a really good week out here as far as the workload that we got. We just missed an opportunity at the end of this week, and obviously it's really frustrating. At the end of the day, film is your resume in this league. Coaches, players. We didn't coach well enough to prepare ourselves to take advantage of this opportunity, and so obviously, hopefully, it's going to be a really valuable lesson for our team, a response opportunity for our team moving forward with one more week of essentially preseason football, preparation week, and a game in Dallas. So.
What a dud. Saints got their heads kicked in by the Rams 34-0. I don't even care about the results so much. I mean, do you remember, Muse, who the Saints played in the preseason last year?
All I remember is the Arizona Cardinals. That's it.
I don't even remember that. It just doesn't matter. The results of the game, it really doesn't matter. It's not about it's weird to say, preseason game, or like midweek games. You're keeping score. Sorry, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. Kind
of. Yeah, you do.
Yes, they're keeping score, but really, genuinely, it doesn't matter. What matters for preseason games are guys are trying to win jobs. And so that's the disappointing part is Zach Wilson had a chance to maybe take a step to solidifying the number 2 job. Both kickers absolutely suck. That's why they signed Daniel Carlson today. There's a lot of things therein. You would have loved to have seen with the injuries at running back, someone make a move. If it was Kendre Miller, Ty Chandler fumbled at the goal line. Everyone sucked, and there's nothing good. So, regrettably, we'll give you some takeaways from that game, but maybe even more importantly, the Saints have added a kicker and traded for a running back. So we'll get some of those personnel moves coming up here in just a smidge. It's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. How about Max Johnson? Congrats if you missed this, former LSU Tiger. And I mean this in the most sincere way possible. Max Johnson's been named the starting quarterback at Georgia Directional State. If Georgia State, Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah, Georgia Southern. That's it. Georgia Southern in the Sun Belt named Max Johnson their starting quarterback. So the guy who was the starting quarterback for Ed Ogeron at LSU, for Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, and for Mac Brown at North Carolina is now the starting quarterback at Georgia Southern. He's persevered through a lot, man. He has had some tough luck and some devastating injuries, but guy loves football. He keeps at it, and good for him. So he'll debut against Charleston Southern there at Georgia Southern. Week 2, they face Clemson. So congrats to Max Johnson, who has persevered through a devastating leg injury, but loves ball and keeps going at it. And he'll have an opportunity to start at Georgia Southern. So another storyline worth keeping an eye on when kickoff takes place this weekend, and of course week 1 a week from Saturday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Okay, we got quarterback news. Keelan Russell has been named the starting quarterback for Alabama. Senior Austin Mack, who followed Kalen DeBose from Washington, gets beat out by the redshirt freshman. I'm sure this is going to go awesome for Alabama. Good luck with that. Bama is burning.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Faison Brandon, true freshman, has been named the starting quarterback at Tennessee. He beats out George McIntyre, a former Alabama quarterback who clearly stinks as well because he got beaten out by a true freshman. This will be the first true freshman to start for Tennessee since Brent Schaefer in 2004. Balls open against Furman September 5th.
The Florida Gators.
Aaron Philo, the Georgia Tech transfer, has been named Florida's starter. He beat out redshirt freshman Tramel Jones. They competed through spring and fall camp. So he was in line to start at Georgia Tech, but he followed offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner from Atlanta to Gainesville. This felt like a foregone conclusion, but now it is official. Aaron Philo starting for Florida.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Meanwhile, 13 days ahead of Arkansas's season opener against North Alabama, Ryan Silverfield has named KJ Jackson the starting quarterback for the Hogs. Remember KJ Jackson? he was one of those quarterbacks that was just absolutely horrific against LSU. Well, that's everybody from Arkansas. He's 6'4", 225. He beat out Memphis transfer A.J. Hill for the position. Jackson played in 5 games a year ago with 1 start against Missouri.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou's going to be without running back Ahmad Hardy for the season opener. He still has not practiced this offseason. Remember, he was shot in the upper leg back in May. Thankfully, not life-threatening, but still working to get back. Hardy enters the season as really one of the most accomplished players in the SEC. Led the SEC in rushing a year ago. Was a first-team All-America a season ago. Was number 2 in the nation in rushing. Missouri opens the season against Arkansas Pine Bluff on September the 3rd. Then they're at Kansas on September the 11th.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Missouri star transfer Mark Mitchell has applied to the University of Kentucky admissions office. So Mitchell got a TRO, entered the portal on Friday with a do not contact tag, and now looks like he's trying to transfer within the conference. So we're talking about LSU football adding some Ole Miss players. There's a basketball note with Mark Mitchell looking to go from Missouri to Kentucky. We'll see what the commish has to say about that. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 or go to williamsoneye.com. Remember, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery, they do it all. You can have your annual eye exam at the Williamson Eye Center. If you wear contacts or glasses, they can update your prescription at the Williamson Eye Center. But if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help with a great refractive procedure. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Okay, it is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. In light of amid all of this chaos and roster building and rotation, the LSU Tigers did scrimmage Saturday in Tiger Stadium. If you follow along at LouisianaSports.net or Locked on LSU, which is my podcast, I hope that you would go subscribe, podcast or YouTube. Thank you. I did give you a scrimmage report, so we'll go through some of those notes. And even since Saturday, I have spoken to a few more people who were there to get a little more context even still. This was not open to the media, but I want to go through some of my scrimmage notes. And Lane Kiffin was asked, well, I asked him about it on Monday, and he gave us he even said this is going to be a very vague, nondescript answer, which he gave us just a total mouthful of cliches. But anyway, we'll talk about that coming up in about 20 minutes after the top of the hour. When we come back, the Saints lost their preseason game. It was hideous, but they continue to lose players as well due to injuries. They made a trade for a running back, and they added a place kicker. I want to talk about that when we come back to wrap up hour number 1. Stay here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Hey, remember at Renaissance Baton Rouge, they can actually host these custom dinners for you. If you want a private custom dinner party, they can do that for you at Renaissance Baton Rouge. They have a private room area blocked off where they partition. They can have a prefix menu if you want. Let's say you have a private gathering that you're looking to host. You could do that right there at Tallulah inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. Just one of the many ways that Renaissance opens up for all different types of events and possibilities. Yes, the Grand Ballroom can host 500 people. So wedding reception, that's a big wedding, but a wedding reception, awards banquets, any type of conference for your business, whatever it may be, they can host it there at Renaissance Baton Rouge. You need a boardroom for 12 people? They can do that as well at Renaissance Baton Rouge. It's so convenient. Right there on Bluebonnet, near I-10, across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. Call my friend Allison Crump today at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
We're wrapping up hour number one. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Ross Jackson will join us in hour three. I'll talk a little Who-Dat. Saints got their head kicked in by the Rams on Saturday, 34-0. It was atrocious all the way around. God bless you if you watched it. If you made it all the way through. There was really nothing good, genuinely nothing good. But coming out of that, the Saints recognized with even more injuries and poor play, they need to get better. There's an old adage in the NFL, you're never staying the same. You're always getting better or you're getting worse. You are never staying the same in the NFL. An NFL roster is an organic, living, breathing thing. It is constantly moving and evolving. So if you're stationary, you are losing. There's just no such thing. So you're always looking at ways to improve your roster, however that may be. And so coming out of this weekend at running back, where the Saints know they're without Alvin Kamara for a month because of a knee injury, where Audric Estime is battling an ankle injury, Devin Neal pulled a hammy, you are paper thin at running back. And so the Saints went and did something about it. They traded Deion Jones for Zamir White. Now, on one hand, this is super disappointing because we were all pretty pumped about seeing Deion Jones come back to New Orleans. From New Orleans, played at Jesuit, went to LSU, and now is going to have an opportunity after playing for every other team in the division, the Bucs, Falcons, and Panthers. He was finally going to get a chance to play in his hometown, and that was really cool. Now, this also felt like it was going to be a long shot for Debo to make the Saints just because of the depth at linebacker. You paid Caden Ellis a bunch of money. You've still got Pete Werner hanging around. We're all very high on Danny Stutzman, guys like Isaiah Stallbird, Jalen Ford. You're young there. And so Debo, I think, was going to have an uphill climb to make this team anyway. So this is one of those instances where you didn't have to give up anything to sign Deion Jones, and you were able to flip it now for a resource and bringing in Zamir White. Now, Zamir White, I don't know. Zamir White's interesting because when he was at Georgia, if you remember, he was a super highly regarded prospect. You know, one of the top running backs in America. I mean, he was a consensus 5-star recruit. He goes to Georgia, had offers from everybody. And during his Georgia career, he plays 3 seasons there, but never really went off. And it was a crowded backfield. There was James Cook and Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton. But after 3 years, he goes into the NFL draft anyway. So he goes into the draft, and he ends up being a 4th-round pick of the Raiders. And over 4 years with the Raiders, it just never really clicked. He played in just 45 games, started just 9 times. Only 1 out of 4 seasons did he play the full season. He finished this past year on injured reserve, which ended his season, and then the Raiders didn't re-sign him. He was a free agent. He signed a 1-year deal with the 49ers, and now in camp with the Niners, who obviously have Christian McCaffrey there, they were willing to trade for a linebacker in Deion Jones. So it was a pretty good swap for the two teams who were thin at those two positions. So the Niners get a linebacker, the Saints get a running back. I don't know that Zamir White has a realistic opportunity to make this team. I think that very much depends on Alvin Kamara, Audric Estime, Devin Neal, their health. So we know that Travis Etienne is going to make, obviously, is going to make this team. I mean, you paid him $54 million. So you've got Etienne. And how long is Kamara going to be out? Clearly, he's not going to start the season on IR if you think he's out a month. So he'll be back at some point early in the season. So you have those two that are very obvious. I think you have now a real question about, well, what about Kendre Miller? Do the injuries to Estime and Neal open the door for Miller? I mean, Ty Chandler had the 86-yard kickoff return in the opener, the preseason opener, and then fumbled at the goal line on Saturday. So that's been a little up and down. What you certainly need is a camp body, because you're not going to go run Travis Etienne against Dallas in the 3rd preseason game. Like, I would be stunned if he even sees the field. So you have to have somebody that can get out there and take a handoff. But at the same time, you could always go just sign someone off the street if you just need a camp body. So this feels like more than that, and maybe the opportunity to bring someone in who, although he's battled injuries in his career, maybe has a higher ceiling, is still a young pro. Zamir White's only 26 years old, so he'll be 27 on September the 18th. So still a young veteran who's got experience. He has battled injuries. He had a torn ACL during his true freshman season there at Georgia, and obviously he's battled injuries now during his time in the NFL. But if he can stay healthy, it's a guy who has some ability, could maybe be a good piece there behind your first two of Etienne and Kamara, again, depending on when Alvin Kamara is back. As for the Saints kickers, this is one that really stings. It's a little surprising to see Charlie Smith and Tanner Brown both still on the roster, because they both stink right now. And maybe I'm just conditioned from watching Sean Payton for all those years with Sean and them kickers. Dude, miss a kick, you're cut. And these two guys right now have really struggled to create any type of separation. And so the Saints have added Daniel Carlson. You might remember Daniel Carlson. He was awesome at Auburn. And he was so good that he actually was taken with a 5th-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings. Like, it's rare that kickers get selected at all. And to be a 5th-round pick in Minnesota was incredible. Well, Minnesota cut him in his 2nd season in the league. He just really, really struggled there right out the gate. But after getting cut by Minnesota, he goes to the Raiders and really found his stride, and ended up becoming 2nd-team All-Pro in 2021 and 1st-team All-Pro in 2022. His career field goal percentage is 86.9, and last year with the Raiders was made 22 out of his 27. So not awesome, but still a guy who has experience and has an incredible leg, and you would hope could maybe add some competition and stability to that position group. It's a little odd to me that Carlson hasn't found consistency throughout his career, because he was an all-pro kicker with the Raiders just 4 seasons ago, that has unraveled the way that it has. But this is a guy who gives you something that you don't have in the other two. Charlie Smith is obviously Irish, who's trying to find his way into professional football. Tanner Brown was in the UFL, who's trying to find his way into the NFL. Well, here's the guy, Daniel Carlson, who was an All-American kicker at Auburn, who's been an All-Pro kicker in the NFL. Maybe the change of scenery, kicking indoors in the Dome. Obviously, the Raiders play indoors as well there at Allegiant. But maybe this is something, a change of scenery, and another opportunity that will help Daniel Carlson. But mostly, you got to give yourself another option, because the two you have right now just aren't good enough NFL kickers to just rely on them to try to figure it out. So bringing some competition in, a guy that's a former All-Pro, co-sign, 10 out of 10. See how it goes here in the final preseason game. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. It's Arco Power Systems. This is industrial generator power. When storm season is here, we talk all the time. As a matter of fact, I was doing some show prep up in my office. It was dark as night outside with that storm cell that just came through, and our lights flickered a few times. Maybe your power went out. Well, what happens when your power goes out? Well, at home, you have a Generac home standby generator. What about your business? What happens to your business when the power goes out? You just cease operations? No. That's where Arco comes in. Industrial Generac generator power. This is Generac generator power for your business, energy for your business. If you have a commercial or industrial facility, any type of business, and you need a backup power option when the power goes out, Arco, ARCCO, and everything's turnkey. They sell, service, install, rent industrial Generac generators. Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. Okay, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, LSU had a scrimmage Saturday in Tiger Stadium. I got some notes I'll share with you when we come back to kick off hour number 2 of AFR.
After Further Review.
So pleased to tell you about our friends over at FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Yes, Lane Kiffin and Sam Levitt and Jordan Seaton and Trey'Dez Green and so many of the elite-level LSU football players trust the Lake with their health care. But that same level of care is available to you and your family and everyday champions every single day. If it's your primary care physician, I told you before, I'm a member of the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group with Dr. Curtis Chastain, Dr. Tyler Boudreau, Dr. Oscar Schoenfeld. It's awesome. One of the best decisions I've made for my personal health in my life, quite honestly. If it's emergency care, I certainly experienced that a few weeks ago when I had an emergency appendectomy. But we take Drew to the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. In the clinic there, he sees many of their specialists. Maybe it's heart care, stroke, cancer. Our Lady of the Lake delivers world-class care right here at home. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the Lake.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest seasoned and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. It's so good, it's wrong. Choose from a variety of classic sides like our zesty Cajun seasoned fries, savory red beans and rice, or sweet corn grits. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The First time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The winner of the Browns quarterback competition is Deshaun Watson. The man with the $230 million guaranteed contract beat out Shedeur Sanders to be Cleveland's QB1. Decision announced 2 days after Watson called out fans for booing him during Saturday's preseason game when he went 5 for 12 for 35 yards, 1 interception over 4 second-half drives. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
I'm shocked. If this was just a football decision, just football, and I haven't seen every day of practice, I would probably say coin flip, 50-50. Start the guy you want. It doesn't really matter to me. After Saturday's press conference, I'm shocked that they did this to the Cleveland fans. I've said if I was a Cleveland fan and Deshaun's still starting week 3, I would not go to the game.
Dan Orlovsky on the Pat McAfee Show. 49ers owner Jed York pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges today after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. Texans acquiring receiver Kayshon Boutte from the Patriots for safety Jalen Reed and a 2028 7th-round pick. Last week, Houston lost receiver Jaden Higgins for the season with a torn ACL.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll get you some takeaways from the Saints-Rams preseason game here in about 15 minutes from right now. LSU scrimmage Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Media was not invited to attend. However, as I was told, it was a very well-attended scrimmage. It was the alumni practice, so every former LSU football player was able to attend. They were able to watch in the South Stadium Club. You also had families of players, booster scouts, lots of people. I mean, there's probably 500 people there, as I was told, just sort of a ballpark estimate. So every note I give you is something that I did not see, but something I was told from someone who was there. And I spoke to maybe 7 or 8 different people who were there and sort of cobbled together a lot of different notes and looked for consistencies and was able to put together a practice report, which if you want to read the full report, I have it up at louisianasports.net. And I did a podcast on Locked on LSU, podcast YouTube, if you want to check that out. But we'll run through this. They ran over 100 plays Saturday in Tiger Stadium. I did ask Lane Kiffin, by the way, on Monday for some scrimmage takeaways. And obviously and notably, Lane Kiffin was vague.
I thought that, we played a lot of plays. I thought that, it's going to be very generic, that the offense did some good things.
Yeah.
We played a lot of backups on defense, trying to find different guys there because we feel good about a lot of our ones, and so they got a lot of tape and a lot of things to improve on.
Okay. At least he told us it was going to be generic. He ain't lying. A few things. I was told in the early going, the first defense was really good against the first offense. First 2 series, they forced 3 and outs. First offense got going on their third series. They had 4 chunk plays. One was an out route to Jackson Harris. One was a seam route to Winnie Watkins. There was another beautiful ball to Trey'Dez Green that got him on the doorstep of the red zone. Sam Levitt escaped pressure and darted for about 12 yards, got him inside the 20, and then they bogged down and ended up kicking a field goal. But they were able to loosen up. When the twos went, the first two series with the twos were Husan Longstreet, then Landon Clark got one series with the twos. Longstreet, they netted 2 field goals. Then when Clark went in, they punted. Offense did loosen up late. Winnie Watkins had a big play touchdown. Caden Durham ripped off 2 long runs. I was told about 2 70-yard runs. And actually had one former coach diagram one of the plays for him. I'm not going to get into all the specifics. It's not that part isn't relevant. But what was so interesting in having this play diagrammed, what was evident was how Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss designed this play to get the defense flat-footed to bust the big run. And I think maybe the big takeaway there is, look, LSU's offense, the rushing offense the last 2 years has been atrocious. I mean, literally last and second to last in the SEC. And you may not have an offensive line full of All-Americans, but the scheme is going to yield you a higher rushing total because of how good they are at creating confusion on defense. And then when you throw in Sam Levitt's ability to run as well, that's going to be a dimension you didn't have a year ago, the last 2 years with Garrett Nussmeier. There was just no threat of the quarterback running. With that in place, it's going to make the defenses pause to respect Levitt's ability to run, which makes a lot of sense. So those things were good. Now, I was also told Sam Levitt throwing the ball was just phenomenal. One person who saw the scrimmage used the word, quote, unbelievable. Some said that they didn't realize he had that arm strength, the accuracy. One, I don't mean for this to be blasphemy, but one said it was reminiscent of Jaden Daniels. Like the tight windows, save your 5 jokes. The tight windows, the accuracy, the arm strength, actually maybe a little better arm strength, and his escapability, ability to make plays with his feet. I mean, that sort of thing is encouraging because, and again, I'm giving you someone else's notes, not mine. I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes. But my contention all along with this team has been whatever their ceiling is, 9 wins, playoff, national championship, whatever it is. I don't know what the ceiling is for this team. But whatever it is, they're only going to get there with Sam Levitt playing at his highest level. And it sure sounds like from everyone, even Lane Kiffin last week, used the word awesome to describe Sam Levitt. Remember when he said that he made 2, quote, adult throws? I mean, people who are seeing him now are gushing about him. And that's great to see because whatever this team is going to be, they're going to be with Levitt playing that way. On Monday, Lane Kiffin was asked about his receivers. Saturday, it was Jackson Harris, Trey Wilson, Winnie Watkins, and Jace Brown rotating with the ones. Malik Elzy, Corey Barber, Phillip Wright were with the twos. This was Lane Kiffin when he was asked if he felt like they had an elite number 1 wide receiver.
We're still working on that. We're playing a lot of guys at different spots. I feel like the receivers have done a really good job. There's a lot of really good players in the room, and it's been very competitive and just figuring out where they play best. And so even though it feels like this is game week, just from our intensity, we still got some time.
So they do not. That is the answer. The most dominant receiver they have is Trey'Dez Green. And they're going to move him all over the formation. One thing that I have heard several times throughout camp is that he's dropping too many balls. Now, I saw that a couple times when we were out there, but I haven't again, when we get to go watch 10, 12 minutes of them throwing against air, it's very different than watching in a controlled scrimmage setting. But that is something worth keeping an eye on, catching the football. But as far as a true, legit number 1 game-breaking receiver, if there was one takeaway I had that maybe was a little bit of a negative was early in that scrimmage, Blake Baker was playing press. And when you're doing that, you're effectively saying, we think our cover corners are better than your receivers, so we can press you at the line and play man and bring pressure with numbers. And you can look at that and go, okay, well, is that a great thing because your corners are that good? Or are you concerned about your receiver's ability to win one-on-ones? And that's something that's going to manifest. it's very obvious. They don't have a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson or a Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas on this team. They don't. They do not have that guy that's going to be a future first-round draft pick at receiver. They don't. They don't have that guy right now. But can the system scheme them open enough to be as effective as they need to be in the passing game? That's the hope. And that's what Lane Kiffin's been able to do everywhere he's been. Look, that offense a year ago that led the SEC had one receiver drafted, DeJon Stribling. He's a second-round pick of the Niners. That's it. He's the only player that got drafted. So they've shown the ability to do it without elite-level talent. It's fair to say what's it going to look like when they do get elite-level talent, but that likely will have to take some time. A few more notes. Offensive line, no surprise at all with the first offensive line. I think what is notable is that when the twos went out there, Ryan Moret was at center and Bryson Martinez was at left tackle. That's two true freshmen with the twos. And remember, a week ago, Lane Kiffin was asked in a press conference about the offensive line depth, and his word was concern, that it was a concern. And when you have two true freshmen, when you brought in all those transfers, and two true freshmen have wrestled away jobs on the two deep, that tells you that your transfers aren't performing. Now, I know that Eric Wolford and James Craig are very high on Moret and Martinez. Like, they are the future, and they are going to be awesome. And next year, you're not going to have Braylon Moore and Jordan Seaton, so those guys feel like they are ready-made plug-and-play for next year. But you don't love that you're relying on two true freshmen in your two deep. But hat tip to those guys for going out there playing well and winning those jobs. We've talked a lot about safety. Jace Thomas ran with the ones when they went dime. We saw a lot of TaMarcus Cooley. I think those two guys are going to play a ton, but I do believe Jace Thomas has won that job and will start against Clemson. Punt return, we've talked a lot about that. People have asked a lot about that. Trey Wilson, Eugene Wilson from Florida, got the first reps. He's got to catch the ball. He's the most dynamic guy, but we also watch him drop a bunch of punts in spring. If he's catching the ball, he's your best. And then Scott Starzik, my goodness. Scott Starzik made, I was told, 3 kicks beyond 50 yards, including a 58-yarder. He's the Arkansas transfer. He's got an NFL leg. So does Grant Chadwick, the punter. So special teams is one of those things with Joe Houston's group that you look and say, man, you're expecting them to be even better personnel-wise than they had a year ago, and it kind of played out that direction. So just a few notes from Saturday's scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. That's the last scrimmage. They start school today. They'll practice this week. This coming Saturday is just a walkthrough. Like it's like a mock game, right? They're going to do the whole thing. They're going to go to Lod Cook. Actually, I don't know if people know this yet. They're moving back to Lod Cook. So Friday nights before games, they'll be at Lod Cook. So they'll go from Lod Cook. They'll bus to the top of the hill. They'll walk down. They'll do the whole thing. Pre-game, national anthem, the whole nine. It's basically a mock game that they'll do Saturday in Tiger Stadium, getting ready for Clemson a week from Saturday. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Yo, we are less than 2 weeks away from kickoff. If you are planning your tailgate, make sure Rouse's is part of your tailgate all throughout football season. Black and gold, purple and gold, they got you over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Man, you watch the New Orleans Saints games or the practices, you see that Rouse's patch on their practice jersey. Proud partners of the Saints over at Rouse's. So this season, all season long, home gate and tailgate, make sure you get by Rouse's. And right now, tell you all the time, check out their weekly ad. If you're buying on a budget, you want to save, they got all their specials right now. Like, how about this? Fried chicken ice cream? That's incredible. Isanova ice cream for $7.99. How about that? I've seen that on Shark Tank. It looks like fried chicken, but it's ice cream. You look perplexed, Muse.
Well, no, I am. Well, I got it now.
It tastes like ice cream. It just looks like fried chicken.
It just looks like fried chicken.
I've seen that.
Okay.
I saw it on Shark Tank. Looks really cool. You're not eating fried chicken. You're eating ice cream.
But it's just ice cream. I don't understand that.
It's like an ice cream sandwich, except it's not a sandwich. It just looks like fried chicken. And like the breaded part is probably just like a cookie or something on the outside.
Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah. Fried chicken, divine peach, strawberry romance, or golden mango.
Ooh, golden mango sounds good too.
Go get some at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. If you missed the news earlier today, LSU has landed its second Ole Miss transfer, Xavier Harris, the defensive lineman. Been telling you about that for days, though, that they were leading for Xavier Harris, and they popped. But they're not done, I'm telling you. They are. That's 3 now. And they're not done. I do know they are looking to add a cornerback, quite possibly a quarterback. They have someone in mind that they're looking for. Would be a depth piece. And I think the thing maybe that's most important to keep in mind here is they're expecting more filings for temporary restraining orders leading to more injunctions. So you are very likely going to have a whole nother wave, potentially hundreds more players that hit the transfer portal that become available. Like we just talked about a number one receiver. Like if a number one receiver hits the portal, they'd add him. Any opportunity that this team has, it's very clear, to make themselves better, they're going to take it. You may not like it. Some of the guys may be in NFL camp. Some may just be on the street right now, like Junior Tui Halamaka. But it's just very clear. If they have an opportunity to improve their roster, they're going to do it. And they are so all in on this season. I mean, you've already spent more than $50 million on your roster. You paid Brian Kelly $54 million. You committed $91 million to Kiffin, all the staff, everything like that. And you've gone through 2 weeks of camp, and you know maybe where you're deficient after 2 weeks, and you have an opportunity to add a guy with 4 years of college experience to supplement your roster. They're doing it. I suspect a lot of places around the country will. As they add more, we'll tell you. Okay, stay with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, it's time to get those creative juices flowing. One of the most fun promotions that Gordon McKernan and his team do every year is the Billboard Design Contest. So it's the Gordon McKernan Billboard Design Competition. Go to getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards. One more time, getgordon.com/billboards. Get your design together, and you could win up to $2,000 in prizes as part of the getgordon.com Billboard Design Contest. Adult division and a kids division. Remember, if you use AI, you might be disqualified. It's sole discretion of Gordon McKernan injury attorneys. You got to include the Gordon McKernan logo. All the entries got to be in by September the 20th, so you got a little time. And your billboard could be seen on the interstate. GetGordon.com/billboards.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing.
If you need a metal building, you need Proform Steel. It's the easiest way to say it. The biggest differentiator with Proform Steel is their lead times. At Proform Steel on residential, for example, or on commercial, they carry a 10-week lead time, where most businesses carry a 16 to 20-week lead time. They're a month shorter lead time than others because they do everything in-house at Proform Steel. They produce everything in their facility: purling, sheet metal, beam, fab, all of it. If you're a big builder and you need a metal building, you want Proform Steel. Proformla.com, proformla.com. Go to proformla.com. Top right, you'll see get a quote, request a quote. You go fill that out, give them a sense of what you're looking for. Someone will call you back same day with a quote. Proformla.com at Proform Steel, and free delivery on everything, no exceptions. Buy it, they'll deliver it for free. Proformla.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Ultimately, it's the administrator's fault. The people that are screaming the loudest, the presidents, the commissioners, the people that run the NCAA, are the reason why we are at this juncture right now, because they did nothing 10, 12 years ago when they could have. They could have given these players a T-shirt and a Big Mac, and they would have gladly taken it, but they wouldn't do that because they wanted to hide behind the farcical student-athlete moniker.
Paul Feinbaum on Best Week Ever on ESPN Radio. Paul and I actually agree wholeheartedly on that. Now, he took some swipes at Lane Kiffin earlier today, and Lane was asked Lane Kiffin met with reporters on Monday, and it was interesting why LSU is in the spotlight when others are doing the same thing. And remember, and I get it, like, I'm sitting in downtown Baton Rouge, 5 minutes from LSU's campus. I'm wearing a shirt that has the Our Lady of the Lake and LSU logo on it. I mean, I get how a lot of people will perceive the conversation coming from a guy who graduated at LSU and all that sort of stuff. But I think you all probably know me well enough to know opposing fans call me a homer. LSU fans call me a hater. That probably means I'm finding my way somewhere in the middle. But it is true. And Ross Dellinger joined us on Friday and told us, you know, the TRO that was granted in a Baton Rouge courtroom a week ago for 33 players, including 16 football players, is one of 18 such cases involving some 200 student athletes. The University of Texas just welcomed back an offensive lineman who was in camp with the Dallas Cowboys. There's a linebacker that got a TRO who's at James Madison and just transferred to UCLA to rejoin Bob Chesney, who is with it. James Madison is now going to UCLA. We're about to see a commitment from a running back, the running back from SMU, who is, as I'm told, a heavy lean to Missouri. So Lane Kiffin and LSU are the high-profile target, but they're hardly alone in this situation. Lane was asked about that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably easy to figure out. I mean, that's the combination of the head coach, LSU, you know, everything. And so I understand that. And that is what it is. And anytime probably like someone's first out of the gate with something, here comes the attention. And then I think as you see others where that happens at other places and other kids. And again, there's a lot of people trying to do the same thing. So this is just what happens. Sometimes, you know, when you're the benefit of a player choosing you, you're going to get all the attention of it, you know, because they chose you when a lot of other people were trying the same thing.
He's not wrong. And I am going to be really interested because the conversations I had over the weekend, just follow me here, okay? So, and for a moment, purge out of your mind, like, what you feel about the NFL, the guys in NFL camp coming back to college. Like, however you feel about that, that's not the point here, okay? I'm not trying to convince you one way or another. But just think of it this way. So a week ago in a Baton Rouge courtroom, we all paid a lot of attention because the judge granted a temporary restraining order to 33 players, including 16 football players. And now that's advanced, and we see some players who have been waived by NFL teams rejoining college teams. Okay. Well, this weekend coming is going to be NFL cuts, where all 32 rosters are going to cut from 90 down to 53. So you're going to have 1,200 players roughly become free agents. Now, not all 1,200 of those are going to be class of 2022 high school signees that played 4 seasons in 4 years that have the opportunity to come back. But there's going to be plenty of them, guys like Jack Pyburn, for example. Well, Pyburn already has his TRO. Now, a TRO, temporary restraining order, as I learned today, this is a 3-step process. A TRO is only good for 10 days. Now, a judge can extend the TRO. We'll see if they do. But after that is the preliminary injunction. So that's Monday. This coming Monday is when all these players that were granted the TRO are going to go before Judge Jordan, Will Jordan, in Baton Rouge to try to get a preliminary injunction, which I presume they will. We'll see, but I presume they will. Let's say you're a player currently in camp with the Chiefs, and you're one of those 2022, I'm just throwing out the Chiefs, just whatever. You're one of those 2022 signees who played 4 seasons in 4 years, and you're in the same position as Pyburn and Xavier Harris and all these guys, right? Well, do you wait until Monday, like to wait till this weekend to see if you get cut, to then go next Monday to file for your TRO? Or do you do it this week? Do you make that move this week to be proactive? So if you're cut on Saturday, boom, by Saturday afternoon, you're back in your college town or wherever you're going to be. You're getting ahead of it. That's more likely. So that's what I was told today, is that the way it was said is there was going to be hundreds of filings this week that will probably come with mixed results. So all that to say, I get why Kiffin and LSU are the easy target. I mean, LSU has become a villain for luring Kiffin, rehiring Will Wade, now all this stuff. I get it. Like, it's what it is. And I genuinely think LSU fans, I get asked that all the time. I was doing an interview on Jocks this morning, WJOX in Birmingham. And I said, look, I genuinely think LSU fans don't care. Like, they want to win. They don't care how they're perceived otherwise. It's like, you're with us or you're against us. And if you're not with us, you're against us. And whoever, like whatever. STTDB, Cole Poosh Poosh, all that stuff. And so they'll plod on, but I am going to be interesting to see what the national narrative will be as this develops. Because, yes, Dae'Quan Wright, Xavier Harris, these are high-profile players that had been with Ole Miss. Now they're in the NFL, and they're coming back into the SEC and transferring to LSU, despite the SEC's objection. I get that. But what I'm saying is, over the next week, there is going to be a flood of lawsuits with other players trying to get a temporary restraining order and then a preliminary injunction to regain their eligibility. And when it's not just Lane Kiffin and LSU anymore, does the narrative change at all? Or do people just continue to focus on LSU? Now, the other thing from Monday's press conference that I thought was fascinating was when Lane Kiffin talked about Todd Monken. Now, if you missed this, when Todd Monken, former LSU assistant, of course, had been in Baltimore and now is the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And that's where Dae'Quan Wright was. Well, Dae'Quan Wright was part of the TRO. And so Todd Monken, after the preseason game, was asked about the Dae'Quan Wright situation.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, as far as I know, he's had a medical issue that wasn't allowing him to practice. That's a medical, issue. It's nothing to do with me, and then he was cleared, so we dressed him just in case we had to have him. But when you don't rep, it's hard to put him on the field. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I wondered why Lane Kiffin reached out a week ago. Now I know. I mean, I didn't know. Now I know. I didn't call him back. Now I guess I should have.
So Monken said that Lane Kiffin reached out about a week ago. He didn't call him back. I asked Lane Kiffin on Monday, and it was interesting because Lane had just answered a question about social media and being off. He thought he'd be back. I said, well, maybe you haven't seen this if you're not on social media. But Todd Monken said you called him. And so I asked Lane, why did you feel the need to call Todd Monken? And this is what he said.
I didn't see, but T. Martin, who knows him, told me that. So I found that interesting because there's some inaccuracies in that story, but I don't know. Maybe someone else called him that said they were me, So I actually don't know Todd. So I guess somebody left him a text or called that was me because I don't know him or have his number.
That is, I'll tell you this. I'm big here on the denial, the non-denial, and all that stuff. Like, I feel like I have a pretty good radar for that stuff. And listening to Lane, especially throughout all the Ole Miss, when LSU was courting him, like, there's very obvious answers that could have been out there, and his denials and denials made it seem very obvious that he was leaving Ole Miss. Like, we talked about that plenty. Am I crazy? I actually believe him. I feel like I've listened to Lane long enough, and I get nobody outside of this bubble. Everyone is just going to Pinocchio him and call him a liar, whatever. I actually believe it. Like, why would he lie? Because his stock answer on everything has been, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about that. Like, he said that 5 times today. He just said, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to comment on that. Like, if he was calling Todd Monken to get permission to discuss Dae'Quan Wright, and he didn't want to answer the question, he could say, I'm not going to talk about players recruiting, whatever, because they're recruits. That's what he said for 5 different answers. Why would he lie and say, I didn't call Todd Monken? Covering Lane Kiffin ain't never going to be boring, y'all. I mean, this is going to, I mean, they ain't even played a game yet. Like, what's going to happen when they actually play football? Clemson and College Game Day, and what they beat Clemson by 40? And then you got all this on top of it? I mean, see how it goes. Tigers had Dae'Quan Wright. Now they've added Xavier Harris on top of Junior Tuihalamaka. And as I understand it, more to come. Okay, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. John Stinchcomb is going to jump aboard with us, talk some Saints Rams. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Get on by, bypass the big box store, and support our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Man, they got some beautiful flowers that are there right now. How about the the 5-gallon Colorama Scarlet Crepe Myrtle. New stock. Get a 20-foot red bloomer for just $29.99. You're going to plant that beautiful crepe myrtle. You can do it right now, and you can do it courtesy of our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of their 4 locations. You know where they are. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Also, deer hunters, they got buck busters, they got mow bucks, they got deer corn. They got it all over at Clegg's Nursery. So as you're setting out those plots, before you do, get by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Natural gas from Atmos Energy is a gentle warmth that starts your day. The blue flame that turns simple ingredients into traditions. And the comfort of a shower that never gets cold. Natural gas is the energy that brings your home to life by fueling backyard fun, cozy moments, and bringing people together. Natural gas fuels the moments that make a house a home. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Obviously, we're going to have to watch the film really closely because, your gut reaction is obviously we want to accomplish more, as an offense. We have the unfortunate interception in the first half. We have one in the red zone in the second half where we're driving. And so, we're just going to have to watch this film and get better. I thought those guys had some really good work throughout this entire week. And obviously, as a team collectively, we didn't take advantage of this opportunity today.
That was Kellen Moore after the Saints lost to the Rams, talking about his backup quarterbacks, Zach Wilson and Spencer Rattler. A day to forget for both. John Stinchcomb was on the call. He's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Great to have you back, man. Thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Appreciate you having me.
Man, it's our pleasure, and we appreciate you squeezing us in. We can start there with the quarterbacks. I think we're both maybe hoping to see a little more. Do you take any positives away from Saturday with those guys?
Not from the game.
Yeah.
The reports from the week of the battles that they had with the Cowboys and the Rams and the joint practices, those were very positive. It sounded like they got great work, but I don't know if there was very many redeeming qualities from that game on Saturday.
Do you ever have one like
For
that?
anyone.
Yeah. Do you ever have one like that, John? A preseason game that that went like that? I just don't remember.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
We said off the air, Joel and I were looking at each other, and we've called Saints preseason games for 13 or 14 years now, and that one might have been one of the least impressive games that we've witnessed. And I think there's a number of factors there, and you don't want to point to excuses, but you also want to be realistic of how the valuation of preseason games has changed over the years.
Would you mind elaborating a little?
Yeah, well, they used to have 4 preseason games, and preseason game number 1, the starters played for about a quarter. Preseason 2, you played about a half. Preseason game number 3, you played into that third quarter, and you didn't really take your starters out or rest until the fourth game, and that was across the board. And now you start these games with a list of players from both sides that you've blacked out half the roster of starters and some second stringers that don't even dress. And a lot of that has to do with the work that they get in more controlled environments of those joint practices. But that's just how it's evolved and how teams use preseason games. It used to be a part of that ramp-up process, and it inevitably and undeniably it's changed how the teams across the board have used it. There's not very many starters unless there's a position battle or a new coach that are getting a ton of quarters and time in these preseason games.
Yeah. John, was there a player or maybe a position group where you thought guys had a really a great opportunity that missed the opportunity on Saturday?
Well, you're looking at the wide receiver position and backup running back position, especially with Kamara down, that you're hoping that somebody just grabs the reins on those. I think we all think that Kendre Miller has the talent to be a major contributor during the season. His biggest stumbling block has always been health for him, but got to see him a little bit, and then there were others that are competing. Devin Neal comes back from a hamstring, only to lead the game with a hamstring. Ty Chandler impressed in week 1, and then fumbles near the goal line on Saturday. And C.J. Donaldson brings something to the table that the others don't, and that big frame and physicality. And, you're hoping that those kind of battles start to trickle out, and you've got some clear answers. I think the same thing holds true at the wide receiver position. Obviously, with the injury to Jordan Tyson, there's more opportunity there. And I don't know whether it was, it just wasn't a great performance across the board, but Bub Means and Austin Jr. are guys that they're competing to make this roster, and it's hard to evaluate who brings more value when the overall performance was as, let's call it, disappointing as it was.
Super Bowl champion, former Saint John Stinchcomb is with us on the call for the Saints preseason games, as you mentioned, with Joel Myers. It's hard to talk about the Saints this preseason, John, without talking about injuries. I mean, everybody has them. It feels like this has been an excessive amount. First of all, is this an excessive amount, or does this feel par for the course for you, having gone through a double digit of these?
I think there are more, and with the exception of Brzee, right out of the gates with his ACL, I think the good news on that front is they seem short term. At least most of them you're coming back in a few weeks is the timeline, with the exception of Jordan Tyson, who appears to be a couple of months. And his timeline's a little bit longer. With that said, it's hit every position group, and I think you saw it from defensive tackle to the wide receivers, the running backs. It's across the board. Quincy Riley, cornerback. Yeah. It's a lot of injuries that are spread out, and I'm sure they're trying to, they being the brass on the second floor over at 5800 Airline, are trying to figure out, is that something that we're doing? Is that something that we need to adjust? But again, thankfully, they seem to be more short-term injuries, soft tissue things, ankles and whatnot, that you can recover from. And with that 1 week off between preseason and game number one, the hopes are that your roster is a little bit healthier when you roll into the season.
Is there a player or position group that you think is most significant when we talk about these injuries going into the final preseason game?
Well, the D-line certainly sticks out to me, in that, Kristen Miller had flashed briefly when he was available in that preseason game number one, but he was stunted because of injuries during OTAs, and the same thing for training camp, and then wasn't available very much during the joint practices following preseason game number one. Godshow's been down. I mean, that D-line, even after you get past the Brzee injury, they've faced a lot of uphill, and that's a position group that, I think they need time on task together. That one sticks out to me the most, probably.
John, is it a thing where, you know the old adage in the NFL, like, you're never staying the same. You're getting better, you're getting worse. Like, are they going into this week, this final week of the preseason, looking to add to the roster, or get the guys that you have better?
Well, they just picked up Daniel Carlson and Zamir White in a trade and a fine. Yeah. So they're obviously trying to improve their roster. I think this, if I'm being honest, Matt, you look at their roster and they're much further along than they were a year ago. And health needs to come together, as it has in years past. But for the teams that are able to make these runs, and the seasons are long and brutal, you try to stay healthy, A, and B, you have to have the depth in spots to where you can weather the storm when those injuries do happen. And I think that's something that the Saints are continuing to build. They've got an upgraded starting lineup from where they were at least last year, maybe even the year before that, and going back a couple years. But you're trying to get that depth where you can be competitive for 17 regular season games and be in position to make an impact after that in the postseason.
John, last thing for you. I had a buddy who, let's call him a well-known New Orleans restaurateur, who texted me on Saturday after the game, just distraught. I said, Hey, man, if 6 wasn't on the field, I ain't even sweating it.
Yep.
And I guess let's punctuate this with a positive, because it sounded like the joint practices actually went really well. That's 2 weeks in a row now where the joint practices have gone really well for the Saints. I don't know if you got to watch the joint practice, John, if you were just there for the game, but if you were there or just talking to people around the organization, what are the positives they took from last week with the joint practices, independent of the game?
Yeah, so the reports that I got from people that were there and have a clue, including Teron Armstead, who was all of them.
Tons of credibility there, yeah.
Yeah, so let's start with somebody that's credible that I value as a source. He felt like we got the better end of the stick against Jacksonville and Dallas and the Rams in all the joint practices. That's a huge statement. And when you're coming off a game where you get thumped 34-0, I think we need that grain of salt to realize that there is no Chase Young, there's no Tyler Shuck, there's no Achane, there's all the players that we expect to see and make a huge impact. They weren't available in these preseason games, but yet when they have been available and when it's good on good versus some of the very best this NFL has to offer. Dallas's offense was number one offense in the country last year, and the Rams roster might be the most loaded of any team heading into this season. So you're competing against really good teams that expect to make deep runs, a playoff team against Jacksonville included. And for our best against their best to come out and you say, we did more than just hold our own, I think that is the positive signs that any team is hoping for. You want that to be reflected in the preseason games. Those are different players. And anytime you go out there and you got a Fleur-de-Lis on your helmet and you represent the black and gold, you need to understand the weight of that, and you want it to be honored. But for the guys that were not available, the ones, if you will, the guys that are going to be playing for the Saints, they seem to have won their matchups more often than not in those joint practices, and I think that's a really positive sign for what this season can hold for the Saints.
Well said. One more crack at it. Saturday night against Dallas. They're at AT&T Stadium. John Stinchcomb will be on the call. Hey, man, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for jumping aboard and giving us a few minutes.
You got it, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Super Bowl champion John Stinchcomb, an all-time great. Georgia Bulldog. I love getting John's perspective. The offensive linemen are always the smartest. Great perspective. There was nothing redeeming from the game, and you would love to have seen guys play better, and it certainly makes you question the depth. But they're never staying the same. You're getting better, you're getting worse, and the Saints are actively trying to bring in players to get better, which we'll talk about Ross Jackson here in about 15 minutes. Some of the players they added and what that may mean. But when the dudes that are going to be suiting it up in Detroit week 1 were going ones-on-ones, good on good against the Rams and the Cowboys and the Jaguars, they had the upper hand. And that matters more than getting your head kicked in with a bunch of dudes that are going to, be selling insurance next week. Respect to insurance salespeople, by the way. All right, let me knock out a break. Come back. We used to do Tigers and the Pros. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. You see their big yellow vans and trucks all over the town because so many of your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air just like I do. So does Darier Jackson, who sent this 5-star review. Great experience from start to finish. From the convenience of online booking to friendly follow-up call for confirmation to Brett's friendly and professional introduction upon arrival, he was thorough, communicated the diagnosis and options, highly recommended. Another 5-star Google review. I can read them forever. They got double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor because for 40 years, they've done great work at a fair price, and they've been friendly, service with a smile. They're always on time, or you don't pay a dime at River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered.
Amigo Al's. No worries, Muse. You just got to push the button. I get it. It's 4:51. That makes sense. But instead of that, Muse, maybe you should have a margarita from Amigo Al's. They're delicious. At Amigo Al's, remember, newest concept from Brandon and Mackenzie Landry, who bring you Supper Club, of course. Amigo Al's is Mexican with just better ingredients. Everything is higher quality, fresh ingredients. You know, sometimes like you drink a margarita and it's like just a bucket of sugar water and bad tequila. Not Amigo Al's. Everything, the best ingredients. Same with their food. And while they're on Highway 30 in St. Gabriel, right? So if you're leaving LSU, by the way, LSU students, get to know Amigo Al's. It's going to be your new spot. You're going south on Nicholson. You pass a U Club about a quarter mile on the left. But if you don't live by there, no worries. DoorDash, Uber Eats, all the third-party delivery apps have Amigo Al's delivered to you on this Monday night. Check it out, y'all. It's Amigo Al's.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us. The Saints did make they made a trade and then added a kicker, Ross Jackson, in about a dozen minutes. He'll fill us in on all that. But right now, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Kayshon Boutte, he's on the move. Nope.
Dang it.
Nope. But he's going from the Patriots to the Texans, the trade involving the two teams. Houston acquires Kayshon Boutte. They need receiver help. A couple guys down, including Jalen Higgins, who is lost for the year. So they replace those two with Kayshon Boutte. And in exchange, New England gets safety Jalen Reed and a 2028 7th-round draft selection. Boutte was entering the final year of his rookie contract and was kind of an odd man out there after New England added A.J. Brown. In fact, he requested a trade. Now he's got that closer to home, all those things. Hoping for a really good season there for Kayshon Boutte. Cade Anderson made his major league. No, he went to St. Paul's.
Well, he should have gone to Cal.
He went to St. Paul's.
He should have gone.
He made his major league debut on Saturday, and you know what? It was really good considering the lineup he went up against. First time in the big leagues, 5 2/3, 3 earned, 2 walks, 5 punch-outs for Anderson. Got the no decision. First major league strikeout came in the first inning against Alex Bregman. A little change-up away swinging. Great pitch. Awesome moment. And then Bregman Turned around in the 6th inning. Got Anderson back. 19th home run of the season for Alex Bregman there. His one hit in that ball game. Cam Sanders, our guy.
Kelly High!
No. Shutout inning of relief, though.
Yeah, should
have. For the Orioles yesterday. 9 pitches, 5 strikes. No walks, no strikeouts. Really good stuff there. And Dylan Cruz, 2 for 4. Big day for him. 13th double and an RBI in that one. And we'll wrap it up here with Flau'jae Johnson. She dropped 26, 6, and 3 in that game. Dominant effort. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. You know, as summer winds down, it's a great time to give your vehicle a quick checkup. Inspect your tire pressures, your tread, check the fluid levels, make sure your battery's ready for the season ahead. A little maintenance now that can help keep you moving smoothly into fall. Friendly reminder from our friends over at Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You want to schedule service, you can do so. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires, schedule service, whatever may be going on with your vehicle. You'll be greeted with a friendly smile and a great business that's been in business for nearly 60 years, treating you right. It's Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. And by the way, happy 5th anniversary at Shaw Bills to James Smith Jr. He's the technician over on Coursey Boulevard. So shout out to James. Happy 5-year anniversary with Shaw Bills. All right, it's after further review. Here comes SportsCenter. We'll get you caught up on national headlines, talk to Ross Jackson, more from Lane Kiffin, what he had to say earlier today. Ton to do. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Okay, it stormed earlier today. Water, now it's hot and humid. What does that mean? Mold. Why is Louisiana the mold capital of the world? Because it's wet and it's humid. That's a breeding ground for mold. That's why you need Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. It's mold remediation done right the first time, parishrestoration.com. Told you about my buddy, Mr. Jim Wardworth, for years. Awesome. He's a veteran, Air Force vet, retired, began his career, was post 9/11 recovery in New York City, moved back down to the South for the BP oil spill, stayed now, runs Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. I mean, what if you bought a house that smells because people had pets or it was a smoker? You want to get rid of that odor? Sweat odor. You could do it. Parish Restoration. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Go to parishrestoration.com.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. QB1 for the Browns is the man who gives them the best chance to move the ball and score points, according to Coach Todd Monken. He and his staff apparently determined that's Deshaun Watson. 30-year-old beat out Shedeur Sanders for the starting job in Cleveland. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
You got ownership that's not willing to admit that they made a catastrophic mistake and it's turning their franchise into a joke. You got a young second-year player that you drafted out of Colorado in Shedeur. Unwillingness to admit that I made a terrible decision and a terrible mistake. It's over. It's bad. Naming him a starter is not going to change anything about your franchise or organization going forward.
Watson with the $230 million fully guaranteed contract, 9-10 with 19 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions with Cleveland. 49ers owner Jed York pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges today after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. Texans acquired receiver Kayshon Boutte from the Patriots for safety Jalen Reed and a 2028 seventh-round pick. Last week, Houston lost receiver Jaden Higgins for the season with a torn ACL.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will.
Hey, bud.
Our bud's in court today with R.J. Lewis. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Mute. So. And Mr. Toby Time Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Now we bring aboard Ross Jackson. Yo, dude, what up?
Hey, man. Oh, gosh. Glad to be back. Glad to be back home. Sad to not be in California anymore. Yep. Thanks for having me.
I'm sad you're not. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm sad you're not there because I can't make Californians references.
That's exactly it. I was so ready to make another one, and I was like, oh, no, but really, it would be disingenuous now.
What are you doing here? Why don't you hop on the 101 and get out of here?
Get out of here. Ah, so good.
Skip all the exits and get out of here. Okay. That was gratuitous, but okay.
It's fine.
Saints lose very badly, and now they've made more injuries, and they've made some roster changes. Let's start there. Let's start with the trade. So they've traded Deion Jones for Zamir White. Make this make sense.
Yeah, I think on the Deion Jones side of it, really exciting story. Guy from New Orleans being able to come back to play for the New Orleans Saints and all. But the writing was on the wall that at best he was going to end up with a practice squad spot, one of the veteran practice squad spots. There's only 6 of those allowed out of the 16 that they can get. They technically get 17 if they were to have Charlie Smith over on the practice squad too, but 16 in total. And so it seemed like it made sense to move him if there was another team that was interested. They found a team that was interested in San Francisco and were able to bring back a running back there. And then I think today we learned about the Ty Chandler injury, which is a knee injury. He's expected to miss extended time. We'll learn what that extended time means over time. And so now you kind of see, oh, okay, I bet that caused this, right? The Ty Chandler injury creates a situation to where they want to go and get another running back because Alvin Kamara's hurt, Ty Chandler's hurt, Evan Neal's hurt. They only just got Kendra. Audric Estime only just came back today. And so now they bring in Zamir White, who ends up kind of helping them out over on the running back side, at least in terms of having the numbers that they need to get to the rest of the offseason.
Okay. Do we think Zamir White will make this team and be on the roster against Detroit week 1?
I don't know. I don't think it'd be hard for me to project that right now and say yes. And so it's easier for me to project it and say no. But I do think that, look, he's a talented player. He is familiar with the scheme and the style, both from college and from his years in Vegas and the little bit of time that he spent in San Francisco as well. And so I do think there's a natural fit for him from a system perspective and a scheme perspective. And so there's certainly an opportunity for him. And while this running back room remains beat up, there will be opportunities for him. But just from playing the numbers game and just understanding just the raw numbers of all this, if the Saints walk in with Travis Etienne Jr., Alvin Kamara, knowing that he is injured right now but could be back early in the season, probably might not be a player that needs the IR appointment. And so you would carry him on the active roster. Kendre Miller, if he makes it through the rest of the offseason healthy. It sounds like Devin Neal's going to be out for a while. It sounds like Ty Chandler's going to be out for a while. And Audric Estime has been really good. Those are probably your 4 running backs. And so Zamir White just ends up, from a numbers perspective, being on the outside looking in, but then maybe being able to find a role in the practice squad, which is likely where Ty Chandler might have ended up as well, and then just being elevated to help on the special team side of things. I think that's probably the more likely and projectable path for Zamir, but certainly a guy that, has a chance to come in and make them think otherwise.
Okay, so with Ty Chandler's knee injury, which I'm just reading the reports, it sounds like it's really serious. And he had an 86-yard kickoff return in the preseason opener. Mm-hmm. Does that absence open up a spot for someone else to return kicks?
Yeah, I think it does. And look, the other guy that's expected to, Kellen Moore said time lost when he was talking about safety Lorenzo Styles Jr., who, of course, had, I think it was Ohio State's first kick return in double-digit years or something like that for a touchdown last year. He was a guy that would have been considered there, but if he's going to be out for an extended amount of time as well, then I think that puts other guys into the conversation, like Kendre Miller, C.J. Donaldson, even Audric Estime has been kind of returning kicks and also serves as a blocker. You kind of want one of those hybrid guys there. Jaden Price has been another player. And then, of course, the group of wide receivers, including Barryon Brown, who we expect to be the top guy there. And we kind of were expecting it to be Barryon Brown and Ty Chandler. But now guys like Bryce Lance, as well as potentially Trey Palmer and others could kind of fight for that spot as well. So that now opens up that conversation next to what I assume will be Barryon Brown, for who's going to be that other kick returner for sure.
Okay, so he's at Ross Jackson Nola, Locked On Saints, and of course you can read him at LouisianaSports.net. Let's pivot and talk. Let's pivot.
Nice. Excellent. Pivot.
Let's pivot and talk about Daniel Carlson. So all of a sudden, the Saints place kickers, they stink completely, and now they've signed Daniel Carlson to try to find someone who can make a kick. Okay, what should we make of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too terribly far from the way that you explain it, right? Like the kicker battle's been underwhelming, and both kickers have been underwhelming, and that's just the truth of it. I mean, look at the numbers, right, in terms of both of these guys. One of them is I think it's 35 of 41. The other is 35 of 44. Neither of those are going to bring those percentages home in terms of what it is that you're really looking for from that kicking position. And so you bring in another guy, and you bring in a veteran, a guy that's a two-time All-Pro, second team All-Pro in 2021, I believe it was, and then first team All-Pro in 2022. The year after. And so, I mean, this is a guy that comes in with that. Now, he comes in also on an 86% kick field goal conversion rate over the course of his career, 81% last year. You'd probably like to see those numbers a little bit higher. His misses, he had 5 misses last year. 2 came from the 40-yard range. 3 came from the 50-yard range. And so, you're still going to have a competition here, and they still believe very strongly in Charlie Smith. But I think you bring in a veteran kicker, just like they brought in Kai Kroger late. They carried 3 punters for about a week last year. I think you're going to see them carry 3 kickers for about a week. Kellen Moore said today that he is expecting the plan to be to bring 3 kickers to Dallas. And so with that being the case, I think this is the week right here to where you got to figure out who that kicker is going to be with roster cuts on Sunday. And so I think Carlson comes in as a guy that very much presents a challenge for these other 2 young guys. And whether it's that he provides that challenge to such an extent that the Saints feel most comfortable with him, or those other guys rise to the occasion because of the challenge, we'll see. But this is a very real now 3-way battle for the Saints kicker position going into the season.
Okay, one more. The injuries continue to persist. It's almost absurd at this point. With this new wave, what do you think is the most significant?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the guys that impact your starting lineup. Like, let's just be real, right? Like, there's some people right now. Like, we went to practice today, and I counted 21 players that were either sidelined or not on the field.
Okay,
that's on your 90-man roster. That's a lot of people. And so, but to be real about it, like a lot of those players, or a good portion of those players, probably aren't probably in line to make your 53-man roster either. But so because of that, I think you got to look at the guys that do impact that. Alvin Kamara, Quincy Riley, Cam Jordan, like the Jordan Tyson, like the guy, Cesar Ruiz, who was out today. I mean, there are these players that are week 1 starters that you want to be out on the football field that may not be available for week 1. We know that when it comes to Jordan Tyson, we're not super sure when it comes to guys like Cam Jordan as well as Alvin Kamara. And I think like it would be disingenuous to try to pass off the impact on that. Like that has impact for this team, that they're going to walk into the season with some players unavailable that could otherwise contribute to them. And so you'd like to see that list come down. You'd like to see guys like Quincy Riley, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara get back to the lineup before week 1. But if they're not there, that has an impact on this team. And I think that this is something that this team's got to get figured out as well, because it's not like the injury news around them is any quieter or any or anything new versus what they've experienced over the course of the past few years. And so something's got to break eventually, and ideally it's one that breaks in their favor in getting these players back and being able to keep them on the field.
I hate this preseason.
It's tough.
It's awful.
It's been a tough one.
Are you going to go to Javier's in Dallas?
I can. I don't know what Javier's is.
Oh.
Am I ashamed of that? Should I be ashamed of that?
No, not ashamed.
Okay. Just ill-informed.
You know what? Actually, knowing your dietary restrictions, Javier's may not be the best choice.
Yeah, there's a diner down there that caters to my dietary restrictions. Okay. I'll probably go to that.
Okay.
Some diner food.
I'll do some research for you.
Okay.
And we'll see what we can do. Okay.
I love it.
All right. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, buddy. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Okay. That's Ross Jackson. At Ross Jackson NOLA, where you can get him on Twitter or X. Read him for free at LouisianaSports.net. You can listen or watch Locked On Saints for free. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, say it all the time, just put Volkswagen on your list. Man, they got some great deals right now. Well, they always have great deals over at South Point Volkswagen. When you are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, you have more inventory, which means you can pass along savings and get better deals, like $3,500 customer bonus on a 2026 Atlas, $1,500 customer bonus on 2026 Jetta. Deals galore, the best inventory. Shop them online. New or certified pre-owned. If it's on the lot, it's online. You can search the entire inventory. I'm not talking about stock photos. You'll see actual photos of the actual vehicle right there on Airline Highway just north of Highland. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Now, I don't think Ross would mind me sharing. So, and I just learned this actually when we were at Super Bowl. Ross had a medical situation when he was younger that led to him having to like modify he had some type of infection. He told me he had to modify his diet. So there's some things he can't eat. So, anyway, so that's what we were referring to right there. I don't think he would mind me saying that, but great dude, Javier's. You been to Javier's? Do you ever go to Dallas?
I've been to Dallas one time, man. That's it. Yeah, just one time. I liked Dallas. It was cool.
Javier's is great.
Steakhouse or what we got
Mexican.
there? Mexican.
Hot like gourmet Mexican.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. And actually, so there's a book. Look this up, please. Boys Will Be Boys. I think it was by Jeff Pearlman. I think Jeff Pearlman wrote it. It was like the party days and glory days and party nights of the Dallas. It was about the 90s Dallas Cowboys. And whenever there's a part of the book where when he's writing about Jerry Jones interviewing Jimmy Johnson, was it Jeff?
It was Jeff.
Jeff Pearlman. So there's a part where the reason that story leaked is, who was the writer? I don't remember who it was. Whoever's the beat writer for the Cowboys happened to be at Javier's. And Jerry Jones did his interview with Jimmy Johnson at Javier's. So he saw him there. He was like, Jerry Johnson's in town. He was the coach of Miami at the time. And so anyway, famous place, great food. There's actually a cigar lounge attached as well. So you could do dinner and then whiskey cigar after. When we were in Dallas for SEC Media Days a couple of years back, 2-3 years ago, whenever that was, Cobble and Bree and I think Deli came with us, Ross Dellinger. And we went over to Javier's, did the cigar lounge thing. Javier's, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Were you going to say something? Oh, well then don't have your mic by your face with it on.
Well, I didn't know. Like I'm wondering if there's going to be a time to say something, but I didn't have anything.
I'm trying to read your cues there. Got the mic. All right, it's after further review. I'm going to go to break then, Muse. You good?
Yeah, no, please.
Right,
we're a little late.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I was literally in the top of the hour just sitting there going, man, my energy level's so high today. And one of the things I absolutely attribute that to is NAD+. If you're not familiar, NAD+ is a peptide. I mean, it's all about stimulating your mitochondria, your ATP, like natural sources of energy. And it's a simple subcutaneous injection I do every morning. It's a peptide. And peptides aren't medicine. Peptides are, they're strands of amino acids that stimulate your body's natural productivity. And so whatever it is, if it's to get energy or clear brain fog, or if it's things like healing response, I've told you about BPC 157. There's so many different peptides. Sometimes it's to calm inflammation, or sometimes it's to calm anxiety. You want to feel and live your best life, Goodwood can help. YourGoodwood.com. Check them out, YourGoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
If your office is experiencing performance issues,
Like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
No, I don't. I think this is a totally unique circumstance that came about because of the 5 for 5 and the players feeling like they should have known about it before and that they should have had it, and then all the cases around the country and all the attention on that. And they were granted this, the ones that have won restraining orders or injunctions have been granted this. So I think this is extremely unique situation that, I mean, I can't predict the future, but that I don't think you'd have this again.
That's Lane Kiffin meeting with reporters on Monday. He's not wrong. Unless if the NCAA, again, changed the eligibility rule, which they've done now for the 5 for 5, this isn't a thing that would happen in perpetuity, talking about these 2022 guys going from the NFL back to college. But what Lane Kiffin was asked a very pointed question about if it's okay for, or what he thinks about NFL players if they should go back to college. Now, before I play that, Dan Lanning, very high-profile man in the sport. He's the Oregon coach, and he doesn't mince words. Remember when LSU's job was open, Dan Lanning was asked by Rich Eisen if he would consider the LSU job, and his answer was point blank, I'm not leaving Oregon. As long as I win, I've told my kids, meaning his family, his sons, his children, we're going to be here. And Dan Lanning didn't mince words during media availability over the weekend when he was asked about these NFL guys coming back into college.
I mean, I think there's a lot of negatives that are involved around this. One, once you go to the NFL, to me, you're in the NFL. You don't get the opportunity to come back. Two, most of us have built our rosters, and you have a limited roster limit now. So if you invited somebody back to your team, that means you're kicking somebody else off your team, right, to match your roster limits. I don't think that's fair to the players that worked all summer, all spring, and put themselves in position to be ready to work for a team, to have somebody come back. But ultimately, it used to be once you had an agent, or once you went and did the combine, or once you went to all those things qualified as you are no longer an amateur, you're a professional now once you declare for the draft. So to let any of those players come back, fair or unfair to them, it's unfair to the sport.
It's an interesting way to put it, and there's multiple ways to look at it. I don't disagree with Dan Lanning. These are players that have put on an NFL uniform. They signed an NFL contract. They're in the NFL. That is a fact. It is also true that those players, under the new NCAA eligibility rules, have another year of eligibility. So you have a conflicting set of circumstances where under new eligibility rules, they have another year. Under NCAA rules, because they signed a pro contract, they're ineligible. However, they didn't have the opportunity when they finish their last season to stay. And so the argument is, look, had we known, we wouldn't have left. And that's kind of what Lane Kiffin keeps harping on. The optics are undeniably awful. Like, you look at the little graphic where it's like Ole Miss to the Eagles to the Browns to LSU. Like, that looks awful. And it's not just LSU. I mean, Trent Hendrick was the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year at James Madison. He went to the Cleveland Browns, got cut, and is now going to UCLA. I mean, we can go down the list of players that this is happening for. Like TJ Harden, the running back. Like, he was in camp he was at SMU. He was in camp with the Seattle Seahawks. And my information earlier today is that TJ Harden is a heavy lean to Missouri. So again, it's not just LSU. It's happening all over the country. And from Dan Lanning's perspective, I kind of look and I go, man, you plant that flag that hard and fast against it, you can't go back. And maybe he has no plans to, but again, this is also a one-off. Like, if his roster's set, that's the other part of it too, is like, you are going to take somebody's roster spot. Like, you keep adding these guys, someone who's on your team is getting cut. Because it's like, certainly teams could have been under the number, right? There's a cap with the new, with the House settlement a year ago, there's a roster cap. And teams could have chosen not to offer scholarships to fill their roster and maybe save a spot or two. But it's unlikely with the number of players. Like, you're going to see guys cut. But this is what that was Lanning's point. And I wanted to play that to illustrate the contrast with two very high-profile coaches who have a different way of approaching this. Dan Lanning, like, planted the flag in the ground, whether they had the eligibility or not. They played in the NFL. It's over. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, and I kind of do too. But I've said I have like a shred of sympathy for these players because they actually kind of got screwed out of their final year. And that's kind of where Lane Kiffin falls on it.
I think that situations are different. You know, in general, should NFL players come back to college? That answer would be no. I think every circumstance should be looked at differently. This is a very unique circumstance, again, because I think there's not a lot of education on this, how this all happened. The judge found that these players should have been told and should have known that they were going to be eligible for a fifth year, which every player moving forward, every athlete moving forward in all sports has. And so they should have known that in December when they were making decisions. Had they known that, they would have stayed. They had no eligibility. So this is not many other circumstances that have been discussed over the years about professionals coming back. They did not know they had a year. Since then, the judge has said, you do have a year. And so because of that, this is a different situation in that where they're just going back to play the year that they've been granted. Not an individual case where one player went somewhere to try to win a case. This is a lot of athletes in these, and a lot of these around the country that, from my information, isn't stopping. You know, that there are cases right now that are going to come out where there's other athletes in the same cases. And so you may end up having hundreds of athletes in this case that are told they have a fifth year. And so this is just a really unique circumstance that isn't a traditional, just pros going back to college, just because they win a case.
For example, RJ Lewis, who literally, and I'm checking with folks that is literally in a Baton Rouge court right now trying to get an injunction to be eligible for Will Wade's basketball team. I am adamantly opposed to RJ Lewis playing basketball at LSU. He played for UMass for a season. He transferred to St. John's where he played 2 years, and then he went pro and went undrafted, signed a 2-way contract, and now is trying to get back into college basketball. No. You left. You left. You had eligibility remaining. You went pro. And it didn't work out. Now you're trying to come back. I'm never going to be okay with that. RJ Lewis should not play at LSU. And LSU leadership should stop him from trying to do so. But they're not. They're going to let Will Wade go try to build his roster however he wants. I think that is unethical. I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that. And people are going to say, well, they're going to go play for someone else. Okay. I'm not okay with it. And I'm 87% not okay with these NFL guys coming back. But there's that little smidge where I go, I am sympathetic because they would have never left. A lot of these guys would have never left. They would have stayed in college had they had their opportunity, which they legally have. So there is, even if ever so slightly, an area of gray. And Lane Kiffin's choosing, and he's not alone. We talked about Eli Drinkwitz, talked about Bob Chesney out at UCLA. I mean, Steve Sarkisian's bringing back an offensive lineman who was in camp with the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of high-profile coaches that fall in line with Lane Kiffin's line of thinking here. So wherever you fall, I'm not here to tell you you're right or wrong, wherever you fall on this. How you feel is how you feel, because there isn't a right or wrong. But for now, anyway, what LSU is doing, and Texas and UCLA and Missouri and Indiana and all these other places, is within the rules. Like, the players have a year of eligibility. They've got an injunction to be eligible. So they're going to play. As gross as the optics may be. And it's also a one-off. Like, it's not, just in principle, it's not that dissimilar from a player getting the COVID year and a medical and playing 7 years of college football, like Tyler Shuck. It's a weird circumstance. So I'll be very excited a week from Saturday when we can actually talk about LSU Clemson, like the football game, and we're getting really close to that. And the Tigers are trending on that way. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com, FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You know, we keep talking about how deer season's right around the bend. A lot of people are putting out those deer plots right now. Of course you are. But what if you're hunting on a lease on someone else's property? And next year, you never want to do that again. You never want to pass on the trophy buck because can you really take down the trophy buck on someone else's property? Well, if you want it to be your property and you never have to worry about that again, First South Farm Credit can help you buy land. That hunting property, that recreational property, maybe it's farmland if you need 1,000 acres. Maybe you want 50 acres to build your family's dream home. Maybe you and your parents, siblings, whatever, all want to own homes on a big piece of property where you have your own home, your own privacy, but you all live near each other. First South Farm Credit can help make that happen. Go to FirstSouthFarmCredit.com, FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com, FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Okay, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. As the Tigers are getting ready for kickoff a week from Saturday, we do have a preseason bowl roundup. What a bunch of prognosticators think LSU their postseason is going to end. We did do a over at LouisianaSports.net. Hunt finally backed us into a corner and made us all do a station survey where we picked the projected LSU win-loss record. I'll tell you what I landed on and why I hope I'm dead wrong. We'll get to that here as we continue. Stick around. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
You know, I love having the opportunity that I've had for more than a decade now to tell you every single day about Darren James. And that was reinforced for me here this past weekend. Had a friend, their couple, they're selling their home. They had a realtor. Darren gave them some advice, spent 2 hours with this family, even though they already had a realtor, to help them price their home properly and some different things, just because, knowing they already have a realtor, just because it's the right thing to do. Push comes to shove, this family ultimately decides they actually want to go with Darren instead. So they switch, but Darren says, hey, I'm going to co-list with the agent you had before, so the legwork that person's already done isn't for naught, and we'll split the commission. He's just as great and ethical a human as you'd ever want to meet. He's hardworking, and he's awesome at what he does. If you want to sell your home and have the best experience, no choice. You want Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
People think it's all about game day.
Let's go!
But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us this Wednesday for AFR from Marucci's Hitter's House on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come take some hacks in the cages with the best bats in the world, the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's at Marucci's Hitter's House in Baton Rouge.
My name's Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can talk to someone or stop by the branch and get excellent customer service.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, well, there's a bunch of publications that are putting out there like preseason bowl and college football roundup. You have some college football theme music over there?
I do. Hold tight.
Okay, we'll hold while we get some college football theme music from Muse. Oh, also, Shay's going to be with us tomorrow. I talked to Shay earlier today at the press conference. Shay will be here tomorrow, and he did figure out his audio issue, so that's great to know. And we talked earlier today about Jalen Brewster. So Jalen Brewster, 5-star, number one defensive lineman in the country, number one player in the country, transferred from his school in Texas, Cedar Hill, I think, to Buford, and is going to make what?
The rich get richer, Buford. I mean, good Lord, dude.
Well, Shay told me Georgia has high school NIL, Texas doesn't. So he went to Georgia so he can make high school NIL.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So better be a good deal at Buford. You know what I mean? Anyway, but Brewster's going to make his decision this week on his YouTube channel. And I think there's a couple ways people have looked at it. Like, well, if he was solidly committed to Texas Tech, why wouldn't he just announce he's shutting down his recruitment? But there's others who think that he is picking Texas Tech. My thought is that makes a ton of sense. Like, you have a YouTube channel. You have something that people are going to watch. You have an opportunity to drive a ton of attention and eyeballs to your YouTube channel, which is a platform you own. It's very opportunistic and entrepreneurial, so good for him. I still think he's going to stay with Texas Tech. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he flips, but we'll ask Shay that tomorrow when he's with us. Okay, you got some college football music? Hit it. Let's go. You didn't go with the Sun Bowl theme?
I don't know the Sun Bowl theme.
The Big Ten on CBS theme?
I didn't know they had that. I didn't know the Big Ten had
the Army-Navy theme?
No. Is that the national anthem?
No.
Huh?
The theme that they play for the game on CBS.
I didn't know CBS broadcast games anymore after they left the SEC.
Oh, they broadcast plenty even when they had the SEC broadcast.
Oh, okay.
And they used the same theme, like the one they used for the Sun Bowl and now the Big Ten on CBS and Army-Navy. And the same theme, by the way, on the CBS College Sports Network, the crap games that no one could watch on channel 876 and couldn't find.
Air Force versus Nevada.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a hell of a good time, especially when Chris Ault was at Nevada and they were running the pistol.
Hey, you can bet on it. So, I mean, go for it.
I'm in. Mark Schlabaugh's got LSU the 10 seed in the CFP.
How you doing, Mark?
That no good son of a bugger, Kyle Bonagura, has LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl against Michigan.
What?
People just keep projecting that LSU-Michigan matchup.
They want it so bad. Bryce Underwood, LSU, they want it so bad.
I love it. Brad Crawford, our guy over at CBS and 24/7, has LSU in the playoff as the 9 seed.
Let's
go, Brad.
Ball knower.
Yeah. Brett McMurphy on 3. Music City Bowl against Minnesota.
That's I don't think I'd watch that. I'm going to be brutally honest. No, I don't think I would.
Yeah, you would. You just told me you would watch Air Force in Nevada.
No, I said you could bet on it. I never said I would watch it.
You could bet on this?
Yeah, I don't bet on LSU.
You would. You'd watch it. Music City Bowl. Why they keep projecting? Why? Especially, like, this was one of those things, and God bless Brett McMurphy. I'm sure he's a great guy. He's been on the show. I've met him a few times. I can't say I know him well, but, like, he seems like a good guy. There's such a lack of understanding of how bowl placement happens. Like, there's a reason LSU is in the Texas Bowl back-to-back years. It's about proximity and trying to sell tickets and creating matchups. They're never sending LSU, I shouldn't say never, but to Nashville. Like, it's a proximity thing where, like, Kentucky or Tennessee or, like, someone from over South Carolina, someone over there is going to go to Nashville. Not LSU. They're going to go to Texas or to Jacksonville or to Tampa or, like, or you make the playoff, which would be better. Pete Futak, number 11 seed in the CFP.
Pete gets it.
I bet Pete.
Friend of the show.
Smart guy. Joel Klatt, Fox Sports, Pac-12 homer. Excuse me.
Pac-12 homer?
Big Ten homer. Former Pac-12 homer. New Big Ten homer, Joel Klatt. LSU. 10 seed in the CFP. Let's see. We'll go around the room because Hunt backed us all into a corner and made us make our season-long predictions. It's up over at LouisianaSports.net if you want to check it out. People have been asking me forever and ever and ever, and I was actually waiting. I was going to hold off until next week. But then even Saturday morning, Hunt's texting me. He's like, hey, man, I need your prediction for the station survey. I'm like, you can kick rocks, loser. I don't want to do it. I run the website. I'm the program director of the station. It's my show. I want to give you my freaking prediction yet. I was like, all right, I'll give it to you. With the right to change my mind. It's interesting, the OTB and the AFR paradigm. Actually, let me rephrase. The OTB and the rest of the station paradigm.
Okay.
Hester 10-2.
Yep.
I think Flynn had him like 15-0 or something.
There we go.
Like that.
I love it, man.
He actually didn't get his in time, but I think he texted me, whatever. Alondra has him 10-2 and in the playoff. Taylor has him 10-2 and in the playoff. Hunt 9-3. Hannagriff 9-3. Muse
9-3.
Give your explanation.
9-3. Yeah, I've had them there ever since the schedule came out. I think they have some holes on the team still, trenches and whatnot. So I had them splitting A&M and Ole Miss, and then going 2-2 in November.
Paulie.
I also went 9-3. I same as Musa, a couple roster holes and a couple of tough games early on. I think I had 9-3.
I picked 9-3 as well, as much as I hate it. So making the CFP as a baseline expectation. You got a $50 million roster, you got tons of expectations, but the schedule is just littered with landmines. I think you split Ole Miss A&M, you split Bama Texas, you're 10-2. The problem is I see Clemson, and I see a road game at Auburn, and I see a road game at Tennessee, and I see a really icky spot at Kentucky as well that no one wants to talk about, but that one just kind of creeps me out because LSU rarely plays well in Lexington. It's never been easy up there. And Will Stein did a sneaky good job in the portal this year, and he always has good offenses. And Kentucky beat Ole Miss in Oxford 2 years ago.
They gave Lane a lot of problems.
They did.
At
Different
Ole
coach,
Miss, man.
different coach. So different stylistically with Mark Stoops and what Will Stein's doing. It's rarely, if ever, been easy in Lexington for LSU. So I just look at it go somewhere along the way. You're just gonna like jam your big toe against the wall. You know, you're walking around in the dark at night and you ram your knee into the end of the bed.
Man.
It's just one of those that just it's unnecessary, but it's so painful when it happens. I think one of those happens this year. So, I got them 9-3, which would just suck because if you're 9-3, then you're probably like in the ReliaQuest Bowl against Michigan.
Oh man, people would rejoice. They want it. They want it so bad.
Everybody would opt out. Nobody plays in these games.
Yeah, but Bryce Underwood would play, Matt.
I bet you wouldn't.
You don't think even with another year of eligibility?
We're brought to you by Hancock Whitney Bank. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. My name, M-A-T-T. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Check it out. Man, so fired up. Football season's just about here. A lot of people are going to be hitting the road. You know, when you look at Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, man, they got over 200 Hancock Whitney ATMs. About 180 full-service financial centers. Find yours at Hancock Whitney, the official banking partner of the LSU Tigers, the official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints. Hancock Whitney supports the teams that you and I love. Why wouldn't you bank with Hancock Whitney? HancockWhitney.com/Matt. My name, M-A-T-T. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. How you can learn more about opening checking, savings account, all the different financial service products that they offer. I love the app as well. I told you, man, I've been a Hancock Whitney Bank customer literally for as long as I've had a checking account. Of course, they merged years ago, so before then I had just one of them. But anyway, they merged. I've been Hancock Whitney since. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. HancockWhitney.com/MATT. Okay. Otter Locks are live at LouisianaSports.net. I already placed my bets, so I didn't get burned with some already in progress games. So I already made the bets. You can get them live always over at LouisianaSports.net. We'll knock out our final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. When we come back, stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
REV. RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com. Rev, the official internet service provider of LSU Athletics and the official internet service provider of Casa de Scone. Go to our house. We are Rev customers. REV, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. They laid fiber in our neighborhood several months back. As soon as they did, boom, we switched like literally the next day. And you know what's cool? It's all local. Local people, local customer service. The service tech was awesome that came to our house. There was a lot we had to undo from the previous service provider. We switched everything. Our internet, our home automation, cable, phone. Yes, we still have a landline because Erica just requires us to have a landline. I don't know why it's silly, but we do. But if you want one, Rev can do that for you as well. RevFiber.com, R-E-V, RevFiber.com. Backed by 90 years of local experience in all fiber network, lightning-fast internet speeds, and the official internet service provider of LSU Athletics. RevFiber.com.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
want to invite you to go visit their shop over at River Parish Contractors in Reserve. The shop's open 24/7. Told you they always have day and night shifts, so, they are working around the clock. The shop's open 24/7 for any client. You want to go see the progress of your job or any job, or maybe you're a prospective client and want to go tour their shop, go visit their shop in Reserve. One of the things I love about River Parish Contractors, all their work is between Chalmette and Baton Rouge. So they are within an hour from all of their work, meaning you go work at River Parish Contractors, you are home every night. It's state-of-the-art. They're an hour from everywhere. It's River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. And remember, they can meet your schedule for your job at River Parish Contractors. Because, look, in engineering, you can have great pricing, but you have to meet the schedule. River Parish Contractors is always going to give you an on-time delivery date because they control it, because they fabricate it there at River Parish Contractors in Reserve. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. As always, big shout out to Brandon and Adrian Holly, all our great friends over at Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah! They do shutters, too. And now beautiful roller shades. You can always check it out at reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
You, Otter, what up?
What's going on, Matthew?
Just, watching some NFL preseason, looking for the next Tiger.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Go get them. If they're eligible, go get them.
Well, Lane ain't bashful, bro. He's trying to win a title. Bro, he's trying to hang that banner. He's trying to win that natty.
They're all paid to win.
They
one
are.
Guy, one coach is not making the most of his career right now.
Dabo?
Bill Belichick.
Oh. Dabo, too.
One coach. They're all coached to win.
Yeah.
There you go. You don't win. If it helps you win, give them to me. Let's get to it. Because I got a little caveat on that tonight. All road favorites here tonight. Tampa Bay -124 against Detroit. Rasmussen against Framber Valdez. Significant pitching advantage for Tampa Bay. Detroit has lost 5 in a row, 8 of their last 9, including their last 2 series against Pittsburgh and Kansas City. Tampa Bay is -124. They're just underway in Detroit. Cubs are playing in Phoenix tonight, -140 on the road at Phoenix against Arizona. Big pitcher, man. The local guy, Mr. Kevin Gausman, is pitching for the Cubbies tonight. Merrill Kelly has been getting roughed up for Arizona. Look for the Cubs to do the same tonight, rather. -140 at Arizona. And didn't want to lay the line with Cleveland and Cincinnati, so we put them together in a money line parlay. Chase Burns against Wisenhunt, massive pitching advantage for Cincinnati against San Francisco. And then Parker Messick, the really outstanding rookie for the Cleveland Guardians, against Clausen at Anaheim. So +166 is what that's paying. Also, I've got to say this.
Okay.
I like to only play the run lines, visiting teams. I would suggest, and I'm going to play them tonight, to play all of these on the run line -1.5 as well.
Okay.
I did not mention that. I did not mention that on the website.
That's a bummer because the Rays are already up 2-0. The run line's now 2.5. So
yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
oh, well.
maybe next time
It's a
put
good
that
start,
up.
though.
The first day I actually go make all the bets on the website before you come on the show, and then you don't even friggin' give the really juicy play. Whatever.
Well, we add things on sometimes as it gets closer to game time. You know this works.
Whatever. I'm mad at you now.
Oh well, but listen, let's
somehow
don't complain
you'll carry
about
on.
winners. Don't complain about winners. So we're off to a winning way. It's certainly not a winner yet, but it's off to a good start in Detroit.
All right, where are you tomorrow?
We're at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson. Mike Delicano will be with it. We got Patrick Everson. We got first, second, no class. Hanny on vacation.
Hanny's on vacation?
Yes.
What's he doing?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's fall camp. It's game week. It's week 0.
This just in. He puzzles me often as well. So, but anyway.
I mean, I get you taking a month to go to Del Mar. I respect the fact that you do it in July. Your ass is back here when it's football season. Let's go, Hanny. Come on.
Well, he is not making a trip. He's not making a trip with me and Max to do the shows in Las Vegas on Thursday and Friday. So,
all right.
Yeah, so we got that going as well.
All right, Otter. Well, good luck, and we'll holler at you tomorrow.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, man. It's after further review. We are brought to you by Evermore, EVA-MOR. Drink Evermore, natural artesian water. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink a natural product, a healthier option. And oh, by the way, it's a Louisiana product as well. It's Evermore, EVA-MOR, evermore.com. You can find Evermore at great local retailers. You want to find the retailer nearest you? Simple. Go to evermore.com, click Find a Store, punch in your zip code. It'll tell you the nearest one, or you can always buy online at evermore.com. 20-ounce, 32-ounce, 64-ounce. Buy them individually, in bulk, by the pack. Just buy them. Evermore, EVA-MOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. Tomorrow is Skip Bertman's The Celebration of Life for the Skipper over at the Maravich Center. The players are having their gathering beforehand, and then the doors at the PMAC open to the public at 6 p.m. with the celebration starting at 7. So really hope that it's a wonderful turnout to honor one of the greatest lives and legacies that has ever touched the LSU community. So looking forward to tomorrow evening over at the Maravich Center to honor Skip. And we'll have some guests on earlier in the day, of course, to set the table for that. And also we'll have the latest on the R.J. Lewis situation. As I understand, just within the last 20 minutes, he's still in court trying to get his injunction. When we have a result there, we'll certainly pass it along. Muse Pauly, thanks y'all. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
So I was sitting in my office earlier today, and the window behind me, it looked like it was nighttime. It was that dark. Awful weather came through parts of South Louisiana today. If you felt the effects of that weather at your home or your office, we would love to help you out with a free, no-obligation roofing inspection at Parish Construction Roofing. Also, this weekend, there was horrible hail. Friday into Saturday, uptown New Orleans. No matter where you are, we'd love to help you with a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. We always say it. Do business with someone you know. And now you know Drew Brees as well. If you don't know me or Terry or Tilly or Joe or any of our staff, you know Drew Brees. He's one of our partners. Now, of course, we were thrilled to get that deal across the finish line with Pro Football Hall of Famer, Saints legend Drew Brees, who is not just a paid endorser. He is one of our partners at Parish Construction Roofing. So do business with Drew Brees' company. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.